Jonathan Taylor. There he goes again. 50, 40, down the far sideline. He might do it again. 10, 5, touchdown. I-N-D-Y.
The Eastern Conference Championship has been captured by the Indiana Pacers.
Alex Pillow wins the 109th Indianapolis 500.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Good morning, everyone. Wallet in hand. Kevin Bowen back. Mark Dykton on the ones and twos. James Boyd, I know big weekend for you, celebrating your mom's retirement. Followed that on social media, and we are ready to go. Officially, finally, for the month of May, it is here. And whether it's the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and oh yeah, something else in May in Indianapolis, Kevin Bowen, this is just an unbelievable time of year.
Indeed, and yes, we'll have the Grand Prix coming up on Saturday. I believe we have a ticket giveaway potentially later today on that end. So
Carb Day tickets this week. Carb Day this week.
Gotcha, Carb Day. So yeah, that's coming up, and I was honestly thinking on the drive in, this time next week we will talk about if ping pong balls went the right way or not. What a time to be alive here in our market.
But I just love the attitude and the confidence and the calm of the Pacers. Are like, you know what? That'd be great if we got that. But if we don't, we've got plans too.
I don't know, Jeff. I feel like the energy will change when the ping pong balls are actually bouncing around. Easy to stay calm now. Easy to say we'll pivot, but
I mean, the narrative will be we're cursed. The NBA hates the Pacers.
There is a lot on the line. I don't want to dismiss that at all.
Anybody surprised that the Philadelphia 76ers have vanquished the Boston Celtics? Gone, over, out, get out of here.
Yeah, definitely a surprise. I mean, they were down 3-1, came back. Shout out to Joel Embiid. I know that people like to put the low management label on him, but he's fought through a lot of injuries throughout his career. And another one, the appendectomy he had not too long ago, probably shouldn't even be playing right now, and he's a walking 30-10 guy when he's playing basketball. So even though the injuries have taken a lot away from him throughout his career, he is still a monster. So respect to him.
And, of course, you talked about it. They get it done. Cade Cunningham and Detroit rally all the way from a 3-1 deficit to Orlando. They win Game 7 yesterday. They're on the run. I feel like it's 80s all over again. You got Detroit and Cleveland playing in one semifinal for the conference, and you got the Knicks and the Sixers playing in the other one after the Celtics just got vanquished.
Yeah, you got a couple, I guess, close series in the East geographically if you look at it like that. But yeah, the Pistons obviously are racing 3-1, and their first playoff series win. I think it was in like nearly 20 years. It's been since
2008.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy to think about it like that. But as far as Boston and Philly's concerned on Saturday night, to me it was just that Jason Tatum injury, and I fully understand Tyrese Halliburton is going to be in a much different situation. 5 months different, 6 months different than what Jason Tatum is in. But it's just probably one of those reminders of like as great as that Achilles rehab you feel like has gotten, you just never know. And again, Tatum's situation, we'll see exactly how it all plays out, but obviously, that was a massive, massive factor in what the Game 7 lineup looked like for Boston, and obviously what the end of the game looked like when Boston couldn't throw it in the ocean, and Philadelphia had some big-time answers from a variety of guys, really.
Well, it was an exciting weekend as well. Did anybody check out the Kentucky Derby and the most exciting 2 minutes in sports? Did you make time for that, James, on Saturday evening?
No, Saturday evening I was with my mom and my family going out to dinner to celebrate her retirement, Mother's Day, all of the above, so you got to sacrifice something.
Kevin, did you check any of that out?
Indeed, yeah. No winnings on Golden Tempo, but boy, that was quite the finish.
It was an amazing finish. You had a horse that was one of the bigger underdogs that comes from dead last to going away with it at the very end.
And how do I pronounce that female trainer's name?
Good luck.
DeVoe, is that the last name?
I think it's DeVoe. I've never actually heard it.
Okay, yeah.
Because I couldn't hear. We didn't have volume. We were watching it from one of the TVs at the Gamebridge Fieldhouse the other night. We went to the Fever game against the Nigerian national team. So we saw it, but it was, people were standing around just like anywhere. People are standing around the TV watching it and cheering for their horse to win, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I asked the Sluggers Bar if they could turn on the audio for the Kentucky Derby, and they kind of looked at me like, yeah, man, will you get the hell out of here? You got a wedding ring on and 3 kids.
I can have fun too, right?
How was your experience at Wrigley?
Yeah, we got to get into that.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, as much as it pains me to say that out loud. Congrats to your Cubs on a very impressive effort Saturday. That guy with the flow, the Japanese pitcher, outstanding.
Shota.
Yeah, very
awesome.
good at baseball. He's got great hair. A sweep, right? A real sweep. Of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So, yeah, it was fun, Mark. My first Wrigley experience, and that whole area just really comes to life. Pre-game, post-game, all of it there. So
breaking news, Mark. Wrigleyville comes to life on game day.
I know. Yeah. Little did I know there.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah.
No, so you went to Sluggers. Where else did you go?
We did Murphy's.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So kind of right there. I mean, very generic, very touristy. I'm sure.
You're checking boxes though. That's good.
Yeah, checking boxes there. So we had a great time. Couple eye rolls for the Hammond Bears sweatshirt. But
okay?
A couple people did, kind of do a double take and were like, "Where did you get that? Can I have that?" So yeah, I think that was appreciative. So we did have a great time up there. Weather was fairly decent as long as the sun was out. You could handle it.
Mark, how was your weekend? Everybody else is doing big things over here.
We were busy. Friday, let's see. We did Friday. Went to Westfield. Did like a ropes ninja course out there by Grand Park.
That sounds
fun. That was awesome. And then we went to the Indy Ignite game. So that was cool. First time been to Fisher's event center.
That was yesterday, right?
Well, no, Friday night.
Friday night.
They did a game Friday also. So we went to
that.
that one. And then Saturday went to the Fever preseason game. So
we didn't see you there.
We were down. We saw Matt Taylor was there. Eddie White gave me a fist bump and everything like that. So brought the kids over there. So they had a great time there. So seeing Caitlin Clark and all them up in person.
Yep.
A very good time.
I ended up taking my son and a couple of friends as well. And the four of us went down there, saw the same thing. I will tell you this. Doesn't matter if they're up 30 against the Nigerian national team. It doesn't matter if it's a preseason game. We all know by now it doesn't matter if it's the cliche tiddlywinks. Caitlin Clark brings the intensity at all times, Mark Dykton.
Yeah, she was all over the place. So the girls love seeing that. They're very excited. Explaining, the new players and everything to the team. Where's Freddie Fever at? That was also a big deal. So they had a great time. It
was a lot of fun. And I'm telling you, even for a preseason game and a game in which they won by almost 50 points, whatever, crowd stayed pretty decent for a preseason game when you're not even playing a WNBA team. What would you say, Mark? About 2/3 full? 3/4 full? Something like that?
2/3 probably, yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, a lot of great excitement, always something good to do. And, of course, pretty soon we'll get cars back on the track again, Kevin, and we start getting ready for the San Jose Grand Prix week after. I guess it's coming up Saturday, right?
Yeah, so cars on the track Friday over there on the road course, and Alex Palou has absolutely owned this race, winner of it each of the last 3 years. So, road course coming up, or Friday morning practice, Friday afternoon, practice and quals, and then I want to say it's a 4:30 green flag coming up on Saturday for that. So, yes, Saturday you got that. Saturday you've got the Fever, their first regular season game of the year, and then, of course, Sunday, kiss your mom and pray for the ping pong balls. That's what you got coming up on Sunday.
About 4:30 is when they'll get underway Saturday, and, of course, our coverage is going to start at 3 o'clock. And then at 4, we turn it over to the network, and then we'll have a little post-race show here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. All this information courtesy of the Hensley Legal Group Command Center. It happens. Hire Hensley. So everybody had a lot going on this weekend. There was a lot to talk about, a lot happening in Major League Baseball as well. And we'll get you going again to start to look ahead to what May looks like for the Indianapolis Colts. You can call us up, contact us on the Fan text line as well. They both have the same number, 239-1070, 239-1070. Mark, am I leaving anything out at this point in time?
I think that's it.
All right. We've got a big show ahead for you today, right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Stay tuned.
The morning checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
So nice, we like it twice, right, Mark Dykton?
Sure.
Monday morning, let's go. We are here in the month of playoffs, in the month of May in IndyCar racing, and we'll start with the NBA playoffs. There were a couple of Game 7s on Sunday, James. The Detroit Pistons complete the 3-1 rally against Orlando. They win the final 3 games of the series. Yesterday, Game 7, 116-94. Cade Cunningham, again, 32 points, 12 assists. Are we watching him develop into a full-blown carry-your-team superstar?
Yeah, he's a superstar. He is what number 1 pick looks like in the flesh, 6'8", point guard, getting it done. And, again, congrats to that franchise, man. I know we're supposed to hate him here, but as far as rebuilds go, 16 wins 3 years ago to 60 wins and then a playoff series win. Now that is quite the climb.
Also yesterday, Cleveland Cavaliers win 4-3. The Game 7 victory comes at home over Toronto, 114-102. Jarrett Allen, 22 points and 19 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell had 22 points. It feels like that's a Cleveland team, Kevin. Everybody's starting to contribute every night.
And how about the R.J. Barrett shot the other night? Certainly the Halliburton vibes were very high on that one there. But, yes, Cleveland survives that series. So in the East, you will have the Pistons and the Cavs. You'll have the Sixers and the Celtics. And out West, a massive favorite, the Thunder. Doesn't sound like Luka Doncic will be playing to start this series against the Lakers. And what do we got? Spurs, T-Wolves, and maybe Anthony Edwards. Did I see that? Listed as questionable?
He wants to. He wants to play. See if we can get it going. Sixers Knicks tonight at 8. That'll be followed at 9:30 by the Minnesota Timberwolves and the San Antonio Spurs. Major League Baseball, the Cubs are putting it together, Mark Dykton, looking like the best team in the Central, at least over the last 2 weeks. They've won 5 in a row in this latest winning streak. They beat the Diamondbacks 8-4. Kevin, you went to one of the games that Chicago swept the Diamondbacks this past weekend.
Yeah, I did. Double birds at all 27 outs there for the Cubs. But, Mark, nonetheless, congrats to your Cubs on the sweep, as the Reds were too busy walking every batter that seemingly came to the plate.
7 in a row that they walked the other night? Sunday or Saturday?
Hang the banner there. But it starts today, right? Up there in
does.
Wrigley, I believe. Let's go. I'm on
It
Red
does.
Legs.
As a matter of fact, later on tonight, 7:40 start our time. Cincinnati Reds taking on the Chicago Cubs. So we may have some bragging rights before it's all said and done. Also, yesterday, the Pirates did shut the Reds out 1-0. It was a 0-0 game until the 8th. In the bottom of the 8th, Pittsburgh pushed across 1 run. So they went from one game in which they gave up double-digit runs and 7 straight walks at one point in time to shutting everything down up until the 8th inning, Kevin.
Pathetic.
Just tough.
Absolutely pathetic.
Tough one. Dodgers beat the Cardinals by a score of 4-1, and the Chicago White Sox lose to the San Diego Padres 4-3 was the final in that one, as the Padres snap a 4-game losing streak. Indiana Fever played their final preseason game of the year on Saturday night at the Fieldhouse. No problem with the Nigerian national team. 105-57 was the final score there in the first half. Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark played pretty good minutes, and 1 or 2 in the second half, but 17 points for Mitchell, 12 for Clark. They get the easy win, and now they have a week before they play the Dallas Wings. That'll actually be on Saturday night over at the Fieldhouse, James, and it's on for real this time. Hopefully they'll have both Lexi Hull back. I know Aaliyah Boston did play the other night, so they're getting healthier and healthier.
Yeah, it sounds like the Lexi thing is lingering a little bit with the hamstring, so we'll see what she does in practice this week. I'm trying to get over there a couple of times just to kind of get sort of a feel for it before we get to the season opener. But, yeah, the real thing is Saturday, and I'm excited for it. Can this be the MVP Caitlin Clark season, let alone just staying healthy?
All right. Meanwhile, it is the month of May, and so Saturday in the afternoon, we will also, Kevin, have the Sanzio Grand Prix, and everybody goes back to work and tries to figure out how fast they can make those cars go around the track and see if they can come up just a little bit ahead of one Alex Palou.
Yeah, good luck. Palou has absolutely dominated this race, winning each of the last 3 years. So, again, we will go obviously the other way from a road course standpoint. A little bit later start time, it feels like 4:30 on Saturday. Friday, you will get practice and qualifying over there at IMS. Fingers crossed, early weather forecast looks pretty good. I've sat at about 40-degree weather for that Grand Prix. I remember Colton Herta winning it one year in absolute pretty consistent rain, I feel like. So, again, coming up Saturday, late afternoon, 4:30 start time.
All right, this report on IndyCar in the month of May brought to you by the Hensley Legal Group Command Center. It happens. hire Hensley. The Indy Ignite keep rolling along. I don't know if you've noticed, James, this is a really good volleyball team. They finished up their regular season portion as they get ready to go into the playoffs now. They came up with wins, you said, this past weekend, 2 of them, as a matter of fact. You went to one of them, Mark.
Yeah, on Friday night, that was a fun experience. First time over there, we had a great time. So girls loved it, bought a volleyball, enjoyed the great food over there. So that was a very, very fun experience. So our first time, but not our last time.
All right. Sounds like a plan there. And the Stanley Cup. Doing what the Stanley Cup does. You paying any attention to this, Mark, at this point in time?
We were a bit busy today, or this weekend, so I didn't get to see too much. But yeah, I've been paying attention a little bit.
So wild games. The Canadians. You tell me what's more unlikely, guys. Canadians beat the Lightning 2-1 in a game 7 to advance to the second round, and they win with only 7 shots on goal. Kevin, is that more likely, or the fact that the Avalanche and Wild scored 15 goals between them and only one guy had 2? That was Cale Makar. Everybody else was a single scorer in a game that featured 15 goals, the most since 1992.
Yeah, I thought it was a misprint. 9-6, is that right?
It was 6-6 at the end of 2. Then the Avalanche got 2 from Cale Makar, and they beat the Wild by a score of 9-6. That's the first game of their second round series. So it is that time of year. There's no question about it. And we got a big week coming up. Obviously, we'll kind of be counting it down until the Sanzio Grand Prix coming your way on Saturday. That'll be followed in a sports terms by the Fever taking on the Dallas Wings. Got a lot going on there. And for the first time, is it a bit of a dead week for the Indianapolis Colts, James, or is there a lot going on over there?
We have some off-season training to attend. I think we can go over there, Kevin, on Wednesday, and the rookie minicamp Friday and Saturday, and then the news that was confirmed and really wasn't really news at all, but the Colts did end up declining Anthony Richardson Sr.'s 5th-year option on his rookie deal. I know Mike Chappell was the first to report that Thursday. We all confirmed it Friday, heading into the weekend. And so, he'll become an unrestricted free agent next year.
All right, that's the latest on what's happening in the world of sports.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
One quick correction. The Pistons actually went from 14 wins to 60 in 3 years. My bad. I think I said 16. So I shorted them there. Quite a turnaround for that franchise. And, hopefully this time next year we're talking about a playoff matchup between the Pistons and the Pacers.
All right, that's what's happening in the world of sports, as I said a moment ago. And let's check out what the weather's going to be like. It might be fairly nice today. Amber Hardwick has more.
We're going to have partly sunny skies today with a chance for spotty showers and thunderstorms, especially by the evening and overnight. It'll be warm and breezy with a high near 75 degrees. I'm Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It is that day, isn't it, Mark Dykton?
It is. All the nerds got their lightsabers out and they're ready to go fight.
Wow.
Fight the stormtroopers. Maybe fart the stormtroopers. Who knows?
We'll find that in a saved folder somewhere on the computer. That line
Clipping
right there,
it
right?
already.
Yeah,
No,
that's how that
he's
works.
Not self-accountable when it comes to that stuff.
So, question: did you get any foul balls or home runs? I guess you would have gotten a home run, not a foul ball, where you guys were sitting.
Yeah,
right?
no, I've never been close to that. Is that I mean, do people really?
They throw the ball back against the opposing team,
People
don't
really
they?
well, you didn't need to throw it back, all right? Because the Diamondbacks, was it 2-0? I'm trying to.
You were
think
you were at a kind of a low. It was 2-0.
Yeah.
I think Ian Happ went yard, and that was it.
Ian Happ went yard
Mark,
early in
that
that
score was a
game.
little fuzzy in Kevin's head. It tried to do the 9-9 and made it to about 6-6.
Tell you what, you think you got your fastball at 36, and it really, really quickly hits you in the mirror.
Oh my goodness! I'll tell you what, though. I got to give you credit. Your Cubs right now have the second best record in the National League, second best record in baseball. Only the Braves are 25-10 right now. The Cubs, couple of long. What was it? The first winning streak was 6, and now this one's 5. Is that
No,
right?
they had 10. 10 was the last one, and they've won 5 in a row now, and they've actually won 11 straight at Wrigley now. So we shall see.
Yeah, we shall see how that whole thing goes. And in the meantime, the NBA playoffs roll on, and we've talked about, I don't know if you call it FOMO, fear of missing out, because they are missing out, but it does still feel really weird. Like when Cleveland got that high bounce-in basket the other night in the playoffs, James, we were just on, or the Raptors, we were just on such a ride. Such a ride. And last year, it seemed like every night there was some play like that went the Pacers' way. So
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway without the Pacers being in it is that they would have really had a chance to get back to the finals. It is wide open in the East. I don't know who's going to come out of the East. I would probably pick the Knicks at this point just because of who they have to face on their way to the potential finals. But even then, the Sixers are no joke. I don't know if Joel Embiid, if he can stay healthy enough for a series, can he put them over the top and actually upset the Knicks in this second round? So, yeah, I mean, you look at some of these matchups and you're just thinking, boy, healthy Halliburton and crew, and they would have something to say. But that is not meant to be. Got to wait till next year for hopefully a playoff return. But, yeah, that's been basically a big thought in my head every time I watch some of these teams. Is like, oh, boy, a healthy Pacers team would run them out of the gym.
when's the last time a team that struggled as much as the Pacers did this past year, third worst record in the NBA, couldn't wait for the next season? Let's go. And we have huge expectations.
Yeah, pretty unusual. And again, that's why Sunday, I think, is just so pivotal to, trying to make sure you have as best of a chance as possible to, making this run, because injuries do happen. I think, that is probably a fair reminder, typically in this day and age of, 82 games and, how much whatever, if guys are doing international stuff during the off season, like as much as we like to turn off the injuries, you look at really all of these teams, pretty much all of them are dealing with some sort of injury situation here. So, having a little bit of depth to be able to withstand that, I think is vital. So, Sunday, and I know we'll talk with Kristen Peak, who we've had on the show before, later today, NBA draft analyst Tony East going to join us as well. But, where obviously you want one of the top four, and then does it matter? Does 2, 3, 4 have a huge amount of significance into how you view that pick, who you spend it on, how other teams might view it? All of that, I think, is what, Sunday's going to be all about. And I guess we'll get official word on exactly who the Pacers are going to throw up there at the lottery. It's in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Chicago for the lottery coming up Sunday afternoon.
All right. And you gonna go? You gonna represent the Pacers? We start process of elimination all week. Is it you, James Boyd?
Yeah, no chance. I will not be there for that, but I will certainly be locked into it on TV.
Rick's already said no chance he'll be the guy, right? And then we saw the Fever, or not the Fever, but the Pacers on social media dropped there will be someone there to give us an assist. It started all kinds of speculation last week. TJ McConnell, Jenny Busek.
That's my vote.
You think Jenny Busek?
Mother's Day, assistant coach, former Hooper.
Could see that.
I'm rocking with Jenny. Jenny will bring us good luck.
I had a chance to, as I mentioned the other day, went and saw the Fever on Saturday night. And Mark, you were at that game too?
Yep.
You guys had a good time? It was a terrific time. And I know that, it was a preseason game in this Nigerian national team, but you start looking at that bench and you say, yeah, Aaliyah Boston's back. Caitlin Clark was playing. Then you're sitting over there with Kelsey Mitchell, just continuing to be Kelsey Mitchell. And then you're talking about players like Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham and Timmons. And I'm looking down the bench and they can all play. The only question marks are who's going to actually get those last couple of spots.
Yeah, I think Mo Billings, their new signee in the post, actually sprained her ankle.
She did, right in front of
game.
us. She looked uncomfortable, but didn't look like nasty.
So, yeah, we got to figure out, is she going to be available this upcoming week? And again, Lexi Hull, that's kind of a weird one. The hamstring thing, at least in my mind, Kevin, my eyebrows are getting raised a little bit because she hasn't played in a game all preseason. And Stephanie White keeps saying they want to play it cautiously. And we know how hamstrings can be. They can be kind of finicky. So does that mean you play it slow? Do you, not necessarily go into the season 100% because you want to make sure that she has time to fully recover from whatever happened? For what it's worth, whenever I've gone to practice over the last couple weeks or so, she's been out there. Now, we don't see the full practice, but she's been shooting and moving and stuff like that. Doesn't seem to be in considerable amount of pain or like the Luka Doncic route where the hamstring has really been strained and she can't do anything on the court. But yeah, that's something I have to keep an eye on because it certainly matters for the start of the season.
Yeah, and they kind of have a weird schedule to start. They play Saturday afternoon, then they have that solo game with the Sparks next Wednesday out west. So, if you wanted to, give Lexi even more time.
Exactly.
You could. And then they come back home, and then you kind of get into the, every other day cadence that, most teams follow when you get into the season. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Saturday. I mean, obviously, Dallas has got a ton of young talent. I don't know if you're necessarily viewing them in the Liberty Aces Fever group of it, but certainly expectations are through the roof here for this team. And again, outside of the Liberty and the Aces, I guess, I don't know, maybe Atlanta. I don't know who else, James, you would even group into potentially that top tier.
Yeah, and you have so much talent, presumably, on the court come Saturday with all the number one picks. I believe it'll be the last 4 number one picks because Aaliyah was 2023, Caitlin 2024, Paige 2025, and the AZ Fudd 2026. So that is quite the rebuild for both teams. I'm sure they're both glad with those selections. But, yeah, I think with the Fever, it's championship expectations, and I think there's a certain level of pressure in knowing that you might not be able to run this back again. I know there is a lot of talk and chatter about keeping Kelsey Mitchell with the Fever, making her a Fever player for life, but the reality is she can do whatever she wants next summer. She would be an unrestricted free agent for the first time in her career. Unlike the years past, they can't core her, which in English means to franchise tag her and force her to stay there. That is no longer an option. And you have to pay Caitlin next year. Aaliyah Boston obviously is on a huge contract. So the question is, okay, can Kelsey, who's a little bit older than the rest of that group, maintain a certain level of elite play? And also, are you willing to kind of go the big 3 route with LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade years ago and say, okay, we're going to pay these 3 max players a bunch of money. They're going to take up a bunch of our salary cap. And then we'll try to just throw a couple pieces in there, veterans on minimum deals, experienced players, whatever the case may be, to build a championship caliber roster? Or do we say, hey, you know what? Caitlin and Aaliyah, you're our future. Kelsey, maybe there's a bit of a decline this year. You don't really fit the timeline as the rest of the group. Do we pivot and try to use that money to build maybe a stronger roster a la the Pacers, where they didn't have like the 3-headed monster? It was kind of like Pascal, Tyrese, and then we have a bunch of really good role players, probably better role players than if we would have had 3, superstars. So we'll see. But again, I think there is a certain level of urgency, and everyone kind of knows, the ideas that will be here for a long time. I still think that would lean towards that being the future with Kelsey and Leah and Caitlin, but it's not a guarantee, man. And there are championship expectations this year.
Yeah, they are third favorite right now on FanDuel. New York Liberty plus 230. The Aces are at plus 470. And then Indiana at plus 500. The third favorite right now to win the title.
I'm loving it. And again, Caitlin, I know she only played 13 games last year, but she has no short of expectations either. It's funny because she's such a good player that even coming off an injured season, the expectation is, oh, go win MVP. And I don't want to take that for granted with how good of a player she has to be league-wide or even be respected in that regard for us to say that out loud and not laugh. So that's how special she is.
Kevin Bowen, we talk about the Colts starting to ramp up towards the offseason activities. What are you looking forward to the most in the next week to 10 days? Anything left to start finding out?
Well, rookie minicamp is this coming weekend, so that'll be the first time that the likes of C.J. Allen and A.J. Halsey, et cetera, get out on the field Friday and Saturday coming up, and then they join the rest of the current roster that is doing some strength and conditioning stuff right now. This typically is a pretty quiet week or two, maybe even a third week in May before you get to OTAs. And again, just to remind everybody, you're still kind of in the early phases of the offseason program. So you don't get to the 11-on-11 aspect of the offseason until kind of that final week of May. Obviously the Anthony Richardson Sr. and Kenny Moore II storylines continue to be there. If you look at Friday's news of the Colts officially not picking up Anthony Richardson's fifth-year team option, just kind of go over all of that. It was $22 million, I think just north of that, for the 2027 season. So obviously the Colts were not going to pick up that guaranteed team option. I believe I saw a list. He was only one of, I think it was 3 guys drafted in the top half of round 1 not to have that picked up. So, it's pretty unusual. I mean, the Colts picked up Kwity Pace. What was that? Last offseason, the offseason before that?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably questioned that at the time. So, usually teams pick up this fifth-year team option, but obviously right now we continue to see them roll with Riley Leonard and Seth Hennigan is the other healthy quarterback. So, again, right now, Jeff, I unless they make a free agent signing or, one of these trades happened, it should be a quiet another week or two before we get into the OTA portion of the offseason.
That's what it sounds like. In the meantime, Mark, let's get to know your Colts draft pick, shall we?
All right, so we didn't do one on Friday, so we're going to bring it back. I carried it over through the weekend.
We saved it for you, Kevin.
That's right.
Yeah, I carried it over. It sounds like a math problem back in the day, Mark.
Okay. This guy was a 3-sport athlete for most of his high school and pre-college days. Played basketball, football, and track. He's the youngest of 6 kids. By the way, feel free to take guesses whenever you'd like.
I think I have a guess.
Okay.
I'm going to go with George Gumbs Jr. That is incorrect. That would have been the Edge from Florida. I thought might have been the guy with 3-sport background.
You say youngest of 6, Mark?
Youngest of 6. If you'd like another guess, he said his favorite NFL players growing up were Cam Newton and Julio Jones.
Yeah, this is tough.
And he was named a semifinalist for the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year Award.
Ooh. Oh, Deion Burks.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Oh, man. We're 0 for 2, James.
Really?
C.J. Allen. I feel like he's
For the
a
win.
high-character guy.
For the win.
C.J. Allen.
I could have sworn Deion Burks.
The Boyd family stole.
Because I thought they drafted the dude who got arrested, and then they drafted Deion Burks, and they're like, oh, his character is a lot better than Seth McGowan's.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe Deion Burks was also a semifinalist, but C.J. Allen is the correct answer.
Nicely done.
Youngest of 6. Wow.
Way to go, James
Isn't
Boyd.
Caden Curry like the youngest of a bunch, too?
I'm not sure. I think the finances always turn me off to those conversations. I always wonder how can you afford that many kids. But yes.
My question is always the grocery store. How do you go to the grocery store with that many people? You drive in like
and Caden's eating for 2.
School bus?
Did you see the gas prices this past weekend? Forget food.
Point.
Did you see the gas prices yesterday? Man.
Tell me.
Tell you what, I should have mega busted up and back from old Chicago.
I have thought about that.
For many reasons.
I've done the Greyhound a couple of times. I did it in college when I was coming back from Champaign to the suburbs of Chicago, and I loved it.
As a kid, I can remember in college taking buses home every once in a while, but there's a certain point, I don't know when the age comes, you're on a bus, you're like, I really don't want to do this anymore.
One thing, speaking of Deion Burks, and again, he was a 7th-round pick out of Oklahoma, began his college career at Purdue. I was listening to Chris Ballard on with Rich Eisen, I think it was late last week, and Ballard said that at some point here in the last week after the draft that he went back and started watching Purdue film of Deion Burks, and he was so struck by some of the playmaking that Burks had there that he brought Shane Steichen into his office and was like, I cannot believe we got this guy at pick 254.
Do we know why he fell? And I get it, like, it's not
Size?
it's us saying he fell, not necessarily the NFL teams, but I mean, everywhere we looked, no matter what scouting department or NFL draft guide you use, Kevin, he seemed like an early day 3 guy.
I think Daniel Jeremiah maybe had him as a top 100 pick on his big board there. So, to me, I guess one thing for rookie minicamp coming up this weekend, I am curious about is obviously there's so much focus on the defensive side of the ball, and very understandably. But in Seth McGowan at running back, just look at the depth chart. James, I know you did a depth chart last week on The Athletic. I mean, you probably thought about putting Seth McGowan relatively high on that running back depth chart. And then Deion Burks at wideout, it's not maybe as open as running back is, but like these are just 2 different 7th-round picks. Like when I think of 7th-round picks, typically you just think of projects. You think of guys that, small school guys, maybe they're the strong traits.
RAS, Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, yeah, we'll put them on the practice squad for a year or 2. And, maybe by the back end of their rookie contract, they start to do something. But in both of these guys' cases, Seth McGowan, again, a running back out of Kentucky, and Deion Burks, the wideout out of Oklahoma, there seems to be some, definite like production they had in the SEC, but they also could walk into a situation here in Indy where, maybe they are pushing for a little bit of rookie playing time.
Start to take a look at that wide receiver room. Are they going to go with what they've got right now, James? Or is that another place that, whether it's in the middle of camp in August or sometime during this offseason, that they go out and get a wide receiver like we've talked, a guy like a Keenan Allen, somebody of that ilk?
Well,
which is
Kevin
pretty high
hates
ilk.
Keenan Allen in his relationship with former. What do you mean? What are you snickering over there for? I mean, I suggested Keenan Allen, and you act like Keenan Allen was not a guy who had 10,000 receiving yards in his career.
I think you were referencing the Shane Steichen relationship from 6 years ago.
I mean, hey,
there's
been relationships that have been lasted longer than that in this league. Shout out to Phillip Rivers, Uncle Phil.
Well,
but
it's about as long as Coach Vrabel's relationship, it sounds like, with somebody off the field.
Where's the sound effect when we need it there, Mark?
What sound effect are you looking for?
Oh, boy.
There's many you could have chosen from right there.
By the way, how good is TMZ? Like, if we're going to go goats of the week, how good is TMZ? Do they just pay for all this stuff?
They have to. I think they pay. New York Post probably pays. And
so how much are you able to and in this day of AI, who's to say that I'm just not doctoring things up?
I don't know. Is there like a vetting system for this? Do you have to run it through an AI system? All I know is
I'm fascinated by it.
The moment that when Draymond punched Jordan Poole and that video got leaked to TMZ, I was thinking, boy, how big was that check?
Right. I know. Like, modern day, how much would they have paid for, the Neil Reed, Bob Knight video?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
For all you people out there, doing the deed, be thankful that whatever, if you did it back in the day, you're not going to get caught like you are now. Because, boy.
Reach.
But back to what I was saying, I think that with the wide receiver room in general with the Colts, it's probably pretty set, Jeff. You signed a veteran in Westbrook Akine. You drafted someone, Deion Burks. You're going to give a bigger role to Alec Pierce when he's healthy again off the ankle surgery. Should be fine.
Which means bigger role for Downs, too, right?
Yes. And then Tyler Warren is your number one option, I would say, when it comes to players not named Alec Pierce. So, yeah, that sounds like that's going to be the solution there.
All right, well, we will find out exactly what the Colts do as we keep it tuned here to 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. In the meantime, I'm going to start it off with the fan text line today. Mark, what do you say? Bright and early, we give away a pair of tickets to go see the Grand Prix on Saturday.
No, it's Carb Day we have tickets for this week.
It's Carb Day. So we had Grand Prix last week. Carb
Correct.
Day today. Just says Indy tickets on mine. All right. So Carb Day. You can, if you get there early enough, you can watch Kevin with the ceremonial first beer.
Well, unfortunately, I believe the gates don't open until 8, so usually it's like me looking at.
You're not going to wait?
No, I'm not going to wait. Usually it's me looking at a bunch of yellow shirts looking at me. I'm like, am I allowed to do this? But usually they all, just
well, what are they going to say when the man himself, Doug Bowles, comes down and has one with you?
Yeah, he has occasionally, gone for little cheers with me, so I do appreciate that from Doug Bowles.
All right, so 239-1070. You want tickets to Carb Day? Just simply 2 words, nothing else, because it gets categorized. Carb Day. And you can be put in the entry to win 239-1070. Text us at Carb Day right there. By the way, we've got an anonymous texter telling us, Ryan in Austin telling us, Ball State's men's volleyball made the Final Four. They play in Pauley next weekend, Saturday at 6:30 versus UC Irvine. So how about that?
Yeah, I did see they upset, I think it was Pepperdine maybe. 5-set win. I know Preston reached out earlier and was mentioning that. And I think the 1 seed, UCLA, was upset, if I'm not mistaken. So Ball State, they're in the Final Four there for men's volleyball. They've been a wagon over the years when it comes to volleyball. And that's a predominantly, I think, kind of like those California teams are pretty much the teams that are always in it. So chirp, chirp, baby. Dill Street going nuts.
Go get
Saturday for the Final Four. Monday for the national title. A week from Monday if they're able to advance.
And the Indy Ignite finished the Major League Volleyball season, the regular season anyway, with a record-setting 23rd win in their league, a 4-setter over San Diego on Sunday. The Ignite finished 23-5. That is the best regular season record, Mark, in the history of this sports season.
Mark, did the girls see Pepper?
Love Pepper. Got the volleyball with her face on it afterwards. Got pictures, dancing with cheerleaders. They did the whole thing.
Let's go.
I like it.
Eating some chicken tenders and fries. I had a shake-up that was peach flavored. It's delicious. Oh, my God.
So their playoffs start soon, right?
Yeah.
Is it this week?
They play Omaha, 7 p.m. on Thursday. That'll be in Frisco, Texas. They had the MLV championship as the top seed. They play 4-seed Omaha at 7 p.m. in Frisco, Texas, where they'll have their tournament. So there you go. You take the girls to Frisco on a little road trip, Mark?
We've been to Texas before.
How many Buc-ee's between here and Frisco, Texas?
Not enough.
You probably spend your whole paycheck on gas.
I spent my whole paycheck on gas just coming here.
Just getting one to the next place, right? Man, oh man, did you see what were the gas prices like in Illinois this past weekend? Like up around Chicago,
They're
man.
terrible everywhere.
They over $5 up there?
Take a wild guess.
Got to be yes, right?
Yeah, I have many thoughts about this that I'll stay away from.
I just know we're all paying a lot of money. That's all I know. Yesterday, I wasn't really thinking about it and went to put gas in the old Beast that you guys saw the other day. That was not inexpensive.
Yeah, I dropped a buddy of mine off at Midway yesterday morning before he was flying back. And yeah, I was like, I'm going to wait till Northwest Indiana. By the way, that Hammond exit is a lot further away from old Chicago than I really thought.
You're starting to pay attention to the Hammond exits now, huh?
Man, if you live in the burbs, you are not going to be happy about that if that goes through.
I can see people just spending the night in the tailgating lots, Mark. They might now anyway, as far as I know up there.
Might have to.
Lost Marsh Golf Course going to build some cabins for people to spend the night there.
That's where I cover it. Oh boy, Lost Marsh Golf Course.
One of the wilder golf courses I've ever seen.
Yes, and one of the more dangerous ones when I was covering high school golf because boy, the teams that would compete at that course were not always that great. So I was ducking and dodging a lot. Shout out to the kids who were out there trying their best. Boy, Lake Station Edison had a team that was rough.
What's so wild about that golf course?
Tons of water, just tons of like island fairway green. I remember the first couple holes just being brutal. I remember being like, "Get me off this golf course." But that's where the rumored site is, like right there. I'm pretty sure as where this stadium.
Yeah, well, you had your Hammond Bears sweatshirt on. You should have went and planted the flag.
I did. Yeah,
You've been surveying.
First man on the moon. You should have just put it down like, boom, this is where we're going to build.
Expected a complete report
now,
today.
when I did have the occasional conversation with a local or two about it, after they got maybe a chuckle out of it, they did say, I really think it's going to be Arlington Heights, the racetrack. There's some sort of metro stop that maybe is right outside of the stadium there. So, yeah, seeing, exactly, I'm like, damn, the Hammond exit is really this far. I mean, if you're living in any sort of western or northern suburb, I mean, you're spending a day and a half trying to get there and back.
Just curious, if you're on the northern suburb, is it who's going to get to the stadium quicker? Someone's going from West Lafayette, or somebody's going
might as well
from
fly to the Gary Regional Airport?
Really?
Yeah, West
Seriously?
Lafayette, 1,000%.
Hammond Bears, Mark. Here they come.
1,000%.
Hammond Bears.
See. I'll believe it when I see it.
We were freaking out about it the other, not freaking out, but you're having fun with it. And it seemed like it's all just joke time, but I don't know, man. Do you think it's just a big ploy by the politicians in Illinois to get what they want out of this too?
I think they've dragged their feet long enough. I think at this point, the NFL's like, can you guys make a decision here? Like, what are we doing? So I'd still be shocked if it's in Indiana.
There's only one team in Indiana I'm worried about in the NFL, and they have a big horseshoe on the side. So you guys can have your Hammond Bears, and we'll just see how the Colts filter through with all of their if questions. That's what I'd call the offseason. It's a bunch of if Daniel Jones is healthy, if Alec Pierce truly becomes the number one, if Tyler Warren takes a step forward in year 2, if Jonathan Taylor stays healthy, if they can get a collective pass rush that will balance out not having just a game wrecker. If their brand new linebackers who are all young can fit right into the NFL. Like everything is an if right now, Kevin.
Yeah, lot of hope, a lot of ifs, certainly. And I get that there's a level, if you could say that about a good amount of NFL teams, but I do think with the amount of turnover they have had, and maybe a conversation we can get into is like, okay, now that you are through the draft, now that you are through the bulk of free agency, if you look at the starters they've lost, how much better are you at those respective spots?
We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. Also, more of your thoughts. And I believe we have no shortage of entrants into the chance to go to Carb Day, Mark. So we'll get a winner for that during the break as well. 239-1070. It's a Monday morning, the Fan Morning Show right here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mark, did the girls dress up like little stormtroopers and Princess Leia's today? Maybe Ewoks, something like that?
No. I don't know if they've actually seen a full Star Wars movie yet at all.
James, how many of the Star Wars movies have you seen?
I don't even know the difference between them. I've seen the first one, or the main one, I guess. But outside of that, I'm not really following all the fighting in the sky or galaxies, so to speak.
Kevin, what?
The fighting in the sky.
Fighting in the sky. Where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I knew nothing, and then I heard James Boyd right there, and I'm like, well, I maybe know a little bit more than James, but not very high at all. What tomorrow obviously would be
KB,
one.
Just real quick, it took me probably 15 years to realize that it's Darth Vader and not Dark Vader. I thought Darth Vader was a brother for a long time.
That's Dark Vader over there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he was dark. He wore a black suit. I figured, hey, he won us.
I mean, you're not totally wrong, to be
That's what
honest
I'm
with
saying.
you.
Voice of James Earl Jones.
Certainly initial
Hey,
look,
see,
to
there
say
you
the
go.
least.
Yeah.
Now, tomorrow obviously will be one Cinco de Mayo. I think, people love to, dabble in some, Mexican heritage there when it comes to a margarita or two, or maybe a taco or two. Yeah, anything for Star Wars days? Anything specific here that we're
I don't think so.
eating? Okay.
Kevin Bowenberger.
So
Well, that'd be a first for Jeff.
I
was
may
gonna
try.
say-
I was thinking
gonna
about this
say,
over the
is
weekend.
this-
I
is
need to
this
try
you
one this
just
weekend.
you just positioning, or are you actually going to go through with this?
No, I think I'm gonna try one.
knife meat twist.
Wow.
Now that sounded like a tease. That sounded like I'm gonna try it. It kind of is like
Find out about
Rosie
9:30.
Bowen. Yeah, I'm gonna try those green beans tonight at dinner.
Yeah.
And
We'll
then
find out about 9:30 tomorrow.
See what happens.
We
Jeff
go.
hasn't touched my meat in the last 2 weeks.
Preach.
Mark, it's stretched to a third week.
I know. Got a bit of a dry spell going.
Mm-hmm.
You say this like it's a bad thing. The way that
It
it's
is. You got to
taken
support,
out of
support
context.
the crew.
No, I'm talking about the way he takes it out of context.
Again, I am a certified 2-time meat toucher.
Thank you, James.
There you go.
Appreciate that.
It's the Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. I believe we have a winner, BK from Connorsville, going to join us on Carb Day, right? Or at
Yeah,
least he's
Bart.
got tickets there.
Bart, yeah.
Oh, Bart. That's right. Well, he wants to know. He wants to go by BK from Connorsville is what
Okay.
I'd like to go
Well.
by. So we've got that going on there. Jimmy the intern texting in at 239-1070 says, as the show's official Tampa Bay Lightning fan, do we have the big sounder right there? Like, wah, wah.
So what's the Florida stat? We won't have a Florida team in the Stanley Cup for the first time in X amount of years. Is that right?
A long time between Florida and Tampa Bay. As the show's official Tampa Bay Lightning fan, Jimmy the intern says, have to tell you, I've never been more disgusted by a sporting event. This must be what Patriot fans felt like when they ended up losing to Eli. And the way those goals went in was like watching the crappy 7th sequel to The Angels in the Outfield, but it's the direct-to-video hockey version, James. 7 shots at mark, 7 shots on goal in the win for the Canadiens.
It's crazy.
7 shots on goal. That's crazy. Crazy. Tanner N just says Star Wars stinks. Feels like there's no in between. People love it or hate it anymore, right?
I'm sure you guys talked about this on Friday, but can I give a shout out to Matt from Iowa at the golf outing?
Sure.
Matt drove from Iowa to play in our golf outing.
We had some people from Evansville too. Everybody coming in.
I
there,
mean,
right?
Evansville, yes.
Evansville.
Iowa's a little different than old Evansville.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's attracting. My point is we're attracting people from the entire region. Is the
Shout
point.
out to Twitchy. Shout out to Chris.
Man,
I
man,
love the
tough
Evansville
crowd.
crew. But Matt from Iowa, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Incredible right
That's
there.
Caitlin Clark country right there.
Matt has a goal of he wants to play golf in every state, and that he's
Nice.
including that to stretch out outside of the Union there. So yeah, him and his wife came in town. I think they were staying right around Mass Ave. So shout out to Matt from Iowa. Love
That is
chat-
appreciated, man.
Love chatting with him. So many people, obviously, at the golf outing. I know you guys got a chance to talk about it on Friday. So enjoyed that day and wanted to make sure that he got the deserved mention.
Well, he does deserve a mention. That might be the farthest we've had someone travel to the golf tournament.
I would honestly, I'd be worried if there's anybody that's traveling further than Iowa to our golf outing.
I
I'd
just
be
love
worried
the
about
fact that you had people from all over the region. And, of course, it was dominated by the 2 Major League Baseball players.
Yeah, Tucker Barnhart and Drew Storen, they didn't mess around. Those
54
boys they brought
with their partners.
Yeah, those boys they brought, they were well dressed and they could hit it. Yeah.
Ran the
that
table.
group, that group showed up on the hole and they were like, dude, Kevin, just go sit on the side, man. We don't need you.
KB, how's the shoulder feeling?
It was a little struggling late in the round. Little struggle, but shout out to Nick. He brought me a nice little tenderloin late, which was much needed. I housed that. It did sit in the stomach for a couple groups there as I was hitting drives. But
That one's worth it, though.
It definitely worth it. So, again, awesome day. Thank you to the legends. Thank you to all of our wonderful staff for helping us out, and it seemed like a great day.
And my wallet got returned.
That was wild.
Did you see the 8 helicopters overhead in the middle of the tournament that were looking for it too?
Yeah. So they I assume going back to Camp Atterbury.
Once they got done looking for the wallet, yeah.
Oh, that's why they were overhead looking for your wallet there.
It's kind of.
I still think it's psychotic that you left your cell phone as you were going to look for the wallet.
Wasn't going very far.
James Boyd shakes his head over there.
Yeah, I hashed those thoughts out Friday or Thursday rather, and yeah, we've turned over a new leaf. Hopefully,
was the phone going to help me find the wallet?
I mean, honestly, the whole time that I thought about you losing the wallet, I did catch you guys a little bit up on the drive up on Friday. I thought to myself, Kevin, karma is going to make you lose something this weekend. So just make sure you don't, because all this bleep talking about Jeff losing his wallet, it's going to come back to haunt you. But luckily, phone, wallet, keys, they all showed up.
Everybody was good. It all ended up with a happy ending and a great day on the golf course on Thursday. And you missed the recap, too. I had a great foursome. You saw we come through Chris Denari, Eddie White, Bob Kravitz.
Oh, trust me. I heard Eddie.
I just listened to stories all day long.
Yeah, I heard Eddie from several holes away. Mark, do you have a favorite establishment around Wrigley Field that you like to venture to? I mean,
Sluggers is up there. I enjoy that one very much.
Are you getting in the batting cage?
Oh, yeah, of course. Got to hit the batting cages. You're not going. What are you going to Sluggers for if you're not going up to the upstairs to do the batting cages?
Boy, we had a good time there on the second floor. That's where we watched the Derby.
Mm-hmm.
YMCA came on, just a classic there.
Nice.
Absolutely love a little YMCA action. And I'll tell you what, Mark, you could look around at the talent and you could have a good time there.
I told you. I said the sights will be nice, even if it's a cloudy day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sports on the TVs is what you're talking about, right?
Of course.
Well, that Saturday afternoon. Yeah. I mean, you have a little Doral Golf Championship there. Yeah. I mean,
Cam Young went wire to wire in that, didn't he?
Little F1 dodging some rain down there.
Yeah.
In Miami.
So there you go.
I'm glad you had a great experience. I'm
just
glad
glad
you're Wrigley. I was worried that you were going to come in and poo-poo it. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Trust me, part of me wants to, but I can't. I mean, I can't. It has like a if Lambeau met Carb Day type of feel. And I know Carb Day is kind of fresh in my mind as we give away those tickets, but like it's got the Lambeau like authentic look to it, like not super corporate-y,
Yeah,
at
it just
all,
pops
really.
out of nowhere. You're like, oh, whoa, there's a ballpark here.
But then also like the atmosphere around the stadium is just, it's a little festival like.
It's Wrigleyville, yeah.
It's so yeah, I mean, I loved it. Now again, I think, if I could go to bat for the Reds, I do think Cincinnati's got a nice little area around Great American Ballpark, but I can see why the pageantry and the history and people being obsessed going to Cubs games in Wrigleyville, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, as much as I want to puke and it makes me want to throw up watching them sweep the Diamondbacks as the Reds get swept by the Pirates, I need to be a man here and acknowledge you've got a nice fandom, Mark.
And the ivy was blooming in the outfield, so you got to see the full. Aspect of it.
Yeah, a great seventh inning stretch. Is there anything better than Take Me Out to the Ballgame?
No.
It's a great chorus.
Now, did the beer snake get going by
there
you
were a couple
guys?
beer snakes around it. We had a couple chugs around us.
I was watching the game Saturday. I was trying to find you. I didn't see you. I saw guys dressed in like Derby uniforms. Were you near those guys?
No. There's
guys in full suits, like dressed for the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, you know what I saw in the Derby telecast? A lot of Dumb and Dumber looks.
Yeah,
Did you?
that would be my go-to probably.
But no, Mark, I think I told you what I was going to wear. I did Hammond Bears up top, and then underneath I had the Try Not to Suck Joe Madden shirt on.
Oh, there you go.
But you got hot at times, and so I rocked Hammond Bears around the waist, and I was trying to fit in there for a while.
There you go.
You wrap the sweater around your waist?
Well,
that's a choice.
I mean, look at me, man.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, Mark.
I've had a hair transplant. I got gray hair. I mean, Mark, it's not like I'm looking young.
Mark, it's funny you bring this up because
what else do you want me to do with the sweater?
Because was this 2
Set
weeks
it on
ago?
the bleacher.
Let me throw it down. Oh yeah, because there's a bunch of open seats around.
No, it's funny you mentioned that, Mark, because KB came in with that shirt around the waist.
I did
during the draft.
Well, that room is freezing, James.
But
attest to
again,
this.
I know it's freezing, but I was like, why isn't it on?
Put it on.
I haven't put the shirt around the waist since I was probably in like 6th grade, man. But hey, I would say no judging, but I'm judging.
I'm about to be 37. I got 3. I mean, who cares at this point?
That's true.
You've just given up at this
and
point.
then,
I'm not trying to
you missed it. I should have took a
attract
picture.
anything.
So when I went to the NFL owners meetings a couple weeks ago, and they gave away a bunch of like NFL gear, and I got some shirts that were extra large, and boy, were they extra large. I gave them to Kevin because I am like a medium or a small. Kevin put that thing on. He looked like Tony Soprano Jr. the Colts offensive line. Like, the man looked like he was ready to go take a nap and go lie down for about 2 hours.
Are you sure? Are you sure it was only one XL?
Hey,
It might have been double.
I gotta check. I don't know if it was meant for like football players or it was like some kind of souped up version of the XL. But seeing you in that, I was thinking, boy,
That's
this
the
is a
one
funny
time I've
thing.
worn in public. Thank you, by the
Yes,
way, James, for
yeah.
that.
Oh, you're
but
very welcome.
I believe it'll be the only time.
Yeah, I don't think you can wear that and get
Yeah.
away with it without us looking at you as if you might be going somewhere. I mean, he could have wore it as like seriously, it was like something like a hospital gown. It was hilarious.
Mark, we did dabble in the Bally's Casino.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty new from what I've
Very
gathered.
new.
there.
Yeah, I haven't even been there yet. It wasn't open when I was there last time.
Yeah, it was a good nightcap. Well,
There you go.
early morning cap, but yeah,
Nice.
it's a good.
So
time.
it was just you were there you went Saturday?
We tried to dabble both nights.
Okay.
How'd the dabbling go?
We maybe had some in the group that needed to bounce back after Friday night there, so won't name any names, but it was a productive. It helped me pay for a tank of gas,
There you go.
which nowadays is
I was gonna say you did pretty
That's
well,
good.
brother.
That's a big win right there.
it's quite something.
It's the Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. It is a Monday. Did you guys see any of the video of Marshall Manning going through his workout paces with Dad looking on over the weekend? You see any of that video, Kevin?
I did, yeah. 14-year-old, right, Marshall Manning. So he
Yeah.
is gonna be a freshman.
Class of
Is that-
2030 in high school.
Dear Lord, 2030.
So that's the Colts savior right there.
What year is it? 2026? So where's he gonna go to college? Is he gonna follow Arch?
He's only I don't think they've even thought about it yet. He's in Chattanooga. He's going to school in Chattanooga.
Really? So they're not doing the Denver thing?
That's
Or the
what
Colorado
the
thing?
story said right there. Marshall Manning, the son of legendary quarterback Peyton Manning, showcased his arm strength during a recent training session with the Quarterback Country, a company that works with top NFL quarterbacks. He's at Baylor School in Chattanooga, tossing passes Tuesday in Chattanooga while moving outside the pocket and scrambling. So there you go. They just keep on coming. They'll be like a new Manning every 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting old. Trust me. I see all these ex-Notre Dame or ex-NFL players that have sons on the Notre Dame football team. I'm like, oh, jeez. I used to feel that way about Tatis Jr. in Major League Baseball. I was like, gosh, I remember playing video games with his dad.
Well, I felt that way about Bronny James, and then him and his dad won a playoff series together.
Lakers are 15.5-point underdogs to the Thunder.
They should be. They lost all 4 games, I think, in the regular season, and I'll pick them to win a game, but this will not be pretty.
Like, it's kind of wild when you look at their 15. I want to say, let me double check the Spurs one. The Spurs one's huge as well. The Spurs tonight are a 14.5-point favorite against the T-Wolves.
Now,
Again,
I do wonder if that'll change.
Anthony
if,
Edwards is questionable.
Yeah, if he gets activated.
I mean, 14 and 15.5 in an NBA game. I mean, this ain't the tanking Kings playing late in the season here.
Yeah.
It just, for how much, and you said it earlier, James, the East is wide open.
Oh, my gosh.
Good luck picking a favorite right now in the East, whereas the West, I mean, it's abundantly clear. It's Thunder on tier 1, Spurs on tier 2, and then I don't even, Lakers and T-Wolves. I mean, health is a huge factor right now, but you wouldn't even put them on tier 3 or 4 based off how Vegas views them. Whereas the East, who'd you say earlier? You said Knicks?
James is on
I probably
fire
roll
right
with the
now.
Knicks.
You're on fire with the NBA right now.
I don't. Boy, you say Knicks, and I'm like, I could see the Sixers winning that series.
I know, but I picked them because of the health. You never know with Embiid. Like, he might get 2 games in. And
Just
and
see
feel
him on the
something
side of the
unique.
bench the other night when he was getting stretched out. My God.
I know, but then he steps into that 3 late when they need it and just
I know.
buries it. I
He's
mean,
a special player, dude.
and like you look on the floor right now, and yes, their health is obviously huge, but like Maxey, Edgecombe, Paul George, and Embiid, there are
tough
worse
group.
4-man combos out there right now
That is true.
left on these final
Paul
8
George
teams.
actually looked pretty good. Turned back the clock a little bit in that series, I thought.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to the East just because, like, yes, it hasn't been great ball, and yeah, there are times you're watching it, you're like, man, if the Pacers were healthy. But I do think It's as wide open as it's been in years. Certainly doesn't look like an MJ, LeBron, East that has been dominated for, the past 2 decades plus.
Kind of feel like Philadelphia is the team in the East right now. And I know it's about...
They have the worst odds.
I know, but I know it's about Embiid's health, but if he stays healthy, man, to your point of the guys that they're rolling out there right now, and they're all playing well.
Knicks at home.
Can never trust the Knicks. Who do you root for in a game? In a game or a series that's featuring the Knicks and the Sixers, who do you even root for?
Well, Pacers fans would probably raise their hand and say, how about the other series? Pistons and Cavs. Certainly Pistons ain't getting any rooting interest here from the local audience.
You want to see San Antonio rise into prominence over in the West?
Well, I think we definitely want to see Spurs Thunder. I think that is the series that everybody wants to see. But, again, who represents the East and how quickly is that NBA Final Series going to get over? But you know what? It's all about ping pong balls Sunday. That's what it's all about. Hug your mom, give her a kiss, hope the flowers don't get stale. And
I was going to say, so what's the setup
root
for
the ping pong balls
Sunday?
So how
are you getting this done, Kevin?
I need exact lottery time.
Well, is anything
it's usually
exact in the
at halftime
NBA?
of the game, right?
Because the NBA is notoriously late. I can always count on them to be about 11 minutes late with the tip-off.
So what, the lottery show is going to be like a half hour, right? So that means it's going to be at the back end of a
3 p.m. it says, so probably what, 3:20,
so
3:15?
Is it a 3 o'clock to 3:30 show?
Let's see. All I'm saying is it starts at 3.
Yeah.
So do we have a game on at 3:30?
Let's see.
That's the big question. So if we do, then we're looking like at a 3:20 ping pong ball time.
Yeah, it's Knicks Sixers game 4.
And that's at 3:30?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at what? 3:15, 3:20, right? Because aren't they going to go to a commercial break right before the Final Four?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, they'll do the regular and then say, we'll be right back.
So
for the
we'll know,
Pacers' sake, let's hope that they're in that commercial break.
Right. Now, again, we probably should do this as the week moves along. We need to learn the reverse order because that's going to be the key. As they start to peel these teams off the board, if they go in reverse order, 14 and up, as soon as they say a team's name that isn't in the slot that they should be,
somebody fell.
That means somebody fell.
So in reverse order, very quickly, Charlotte is 14, Miami 13. Then OKC has a pick at 12 from the Clippers.
Unbelievable.
Golden State at 11, Milwaukee 10, Chicago 9, Dallas 8. Atlanta's got a pick from New Orleans at 7, Memphis, Sacramento is 5, Utah 4, Brooklyn 3, Indiana 2, Washington 1.
We'll have Mark think of an acronym. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. James, what was the one that you dropped a few weeks ago?
I think that was it.
What was the word you used for the acronym?
PEMDAS?
PEMDAS.
Yeah.
Mark, can you create an acronym for an NBA lottery acronym?
Oh, sure. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Just don't get the license taken away,
I have
all
to
right?
lie down trying to think of one.
Just don't get the license
Mark,
taken away.
Sports, imagine the headache I was waking up with yesterday morning. Mark, I think you can handle it.
I'll try.
If you're wondering, just for fun, Tankathon today, number two overall pick today. Brooklyn got the number 1 pick, Indiana 2, based on Tankathon's simulated lottery today. That's moving in the right direction, James.
Is that Darren Peterson or is that not?
It is.
If the band says number 1, it probably is.
Are you saying would they draft him or would they trade, is what you're saying?
Well, I wasn't necessarily saying that, Mark, but that's a good question. I would say more, is it Darren Peterson or are you drafting Cameron Boozer or Caleb Wilson?
Darren Peterson.
All right, you guys think about that. In the meantime, let's check it down, Mark Dyke.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Since we're talking about the NBA and the NBA playoffs, the Detroit Pistons finish off the Orlando Magic 116-94 yesterday. They win that series 4-3. Cade Cunningham, last 3 games, had 45, 32, and 32 yesterday. You called this when it was 3-1, James. What made you so confident in the Pistons?
Cade Cunningham. He's that good, and Orlando is that bad offensively. Shout out to Paolo Banchero, though. He showed up. The rest of them, boy, they were shooting some bricks out there.
Another Game 7. The Cleveland Cavaliers, a winner over the Toronto Raptors, 114-102. They win that series 4-3. Jarrett Allen had 22 points and 19 rebounds. I didn't see Jarrett Allen with 19 rebounds, Kevin Bowen.
No, and Strus and Merrill were big off the bench, too. I mean, that kind of looked like the Cleveland team that you saw get the 1 seed last year. So, I think that will be a super competitive series starting. So the 1 seeds will be on Tuesday night, and then you'll get the other series starting here tonight.
All right. Later on tonight, the Knicks and Sixers play game 1 of that Eastern Conference series. And over in the West, San Antonio will play later on tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And, James, it sounds like Anthony Edwards wants to play. He's questionable. We'll see if he actually plays for the T-Wolves.
Yeah, he's trying to pull off Wolverine here and come back a little earlier than expected. And, boy, they could use it because, as Kevin pointed out, they are heavy underdogs tonight.
All right. Meanwhile, in the WNBA, the Fever finish up their preseason schedule. They beat Nigeria at the Fieldhouse, 105-57. Kelsey Mitchell had 17 points. Caitlin Clark had 12. Didn't play a lot of the starters much down the stretch and into the second half, as you might expect. They opened the regular season Saturday night at Gamebridge against the Dallas Wings. The question is, how healthy will the Fever be? Is their projected starting 5 going to make it there? Is Lexi Hall going to be back? We saw Leah Boston bounce back and play this past Saturday night, so it looks like it might happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure with Lexi. It seems like the hamstring kind of lingering there, and Stephanie White is being pretty cautious, which makes sense. It's a long season, so we'll see if and when she'll be available come Saturday.
All right, Major League Baseball, Chicago Cubs sweep the Arizona Diamondbacks. They win 8-4 yesterday. They've won 5 games in a row. You saw one of those games, Kevin Bowen, and you still hardly endorse a trip to Wrigley Field anytime for anybody.
Well, no, I think it's an outstanding environment. I must admit that, as much as it shames me. Yes, hell of a pitching effort. Ian Happ went yard early in that game there, and that was a quick one. You get the
that was
clock?
a quick game. You blinked your eyes and it was the top of the 7th. Boy,
is it really last call already? That's kind of what I was doing there. But nonetheless, very impressive by the Cubs, and now they get to see a real team come into Wrigley here coming up today.
Reds better start scoring some runs, by the way. They've got like a minus 22 run differential right now. They need to start scoring some runs.
Mark, they walked 7 straight batters on Saturday.
Now, that ain't helping.
What is this, 3rd grade Little League? Where you're just looking over at the dad to get the kid off the mound?
At some point.
7 straight?
Start getting it done. Got to keep up with those red-hot Cubs bats.
Well, that was Saturday. On Sunday, the Pirates shut the Reds down 1-0. They just needed 1 run in the 8th inning to get the win there. The Dodgers beat the Cardinals 4-1, and the White Sox losing in San Diego by a score of 4-3 yesterday. The Indianapolis Indians did win on the road. They beat the Memphis Redbirds by a score of 9-5.
One quick baseball note, because it's just coming across the wire here. Longtime Yankees radio announcer John Sterling passing away at the age of 87.
Kidding.
Boy, that's an iconic voice when it comes to Major League Baseball.
Yankees win. Man, that's a bummer. Hate hearing when folks pass on to the other side there. You mentioned Reds Cubs. That starts first pitch 7:40 our time tonight. Brewers playing in St. Louis this evening, and the White Sox are on the road. They're continuing to play out west. They will take on the Los Angeles Angels later on this evening. So probably won't stay up for that one, huh?
No, I don't. I don't think I care at all. Indianapolis Indians at home, I believe, this week. So you get them at home, and I think they're on the road for a couple of weeks here. So yeah, you can check that out. By the way, shout out to Ball State Volleyball. I know we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but they are into the Final Four here. They came back to beat Pepperdine 3-2 in the quarterfinals, so they will now be in Saturday's semifinal. The 1 seed UCLA was upset. So it'll be Ball State and UC Irvine for a trip to go to the national title. That's coming up week from Monday. Ball State Volleyball is no joke. I mean, they are a unbelievable program there. I believe it's a bunch of California schools in like Hawaii. That's pretty much the best in men's volleyball. So shout out, chirp, chirp. Let's go, Dill Street.
Speaking of volleyball, in the Ignite women's professional team up in Fishers, they finished with a record-setting 23rd victory in the MVL after a 4-set win over San Diego on Sunday. They now go to the championship down in Frisco, Texas, where they will play a little bit later on this week. They'll play 4-seed Omaha at 7 p.m. on Thursday night at the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas. There you go, James Boyd. Anything else you want to throw in? We good? Kentucky Derby over the weekend. Golden Tempo goes from last worst to first, really in the last quarter mile. That was an unbelievable run that you saw.
So what was that payout? I mean, it had to be through the roof, right?
It was 23-1 odds when the horse broke.
And the second place horse was the long shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some with an O.
Is it Cherry DeVoe? Is that how you say her name?
DeVoe is what I was going with.
She's the first female trainer in the 100 and, first female trainer to win the Kentucky Derby.
Had to be one of the closer finishes in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, her reaction is awesome. Have you ever had a reaction like that in sports?
It's right there. We're looking at it right there. She was having a good time.
Yeah, I probably have, but probably not with as much impact as she has.
How about
a little bit more pathetic on my
Fair
end
enough,
than
fair
it
enough.
is hers?
How about the jockey, though, Jose Ortiz? Just the 9th jockey in the 152-year history of the Derby to win the Oaks and the Derby in the same weekend. That also completed his personal Triple Crown. He won the Belmont Stakes in 2017 and the Preakness in 2022.
Now, are we getting Golden Tempo in the Preakness here?
She said in an interview afterwards, DeVos said that the horse will decide that over the next couple of days.
Oh, boy. Sounds like we need some Star Wars music after that.
If he responds well and feels good and frisky and everything points like he's healthy, then they'll go ahead and run him.
Well, these horses tend to be frisky after winning a Derby.
Horse going to talk like Mr. Ed or something? How are they going to know? Put peanut butter on its lips and let it start talking? I think I can do it.
Why?
That made me laugh.
All right. This checkdown has been brought to you by Bet365. Early payout. Make sure that you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. If you've got a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. You have to be 21 or over only, and you must be physically located in the state of Indiana to take part with Bet365. Coming up in just a moment, we'll continue to talk about the offseason so far in the National Football League, and I believe we have GOATs coming up in a few minutes. Do we not, Mark Dykton?
Yes, we do.
That's next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We're going to have partly sunny skies today with a chance for spotty showers and thunderstorms, especially by the evening and overnight. It'll be warm and breezy with a high near 75 degrees. I'm Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mark Dykton, I'm half expecting Sheldon and Leonard to pop into the studio at any time now, right?
I know we kept it quite nerdy this morning, I think, with the Star Wars stuff.
It is May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you, right?
Explain that to my daughters because they turned on Disney Plus and they had a whole like May the 4th be with you, and like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, May 4th is Monday and Star Wars, and like, well, what is that? And it was like 20 minutes, and I was like, I'm giving myself a headache running in circles trying to explain this right now.
Good luck. Nice attempt at trying to be a dad.
I know. I was trying to.
Nice attempt at trying to be a dad.
I'll take nice attempt at this point. With 3 kids on a weekend, I think
you did pretty well. You did an Ignite game. You did a Fever game.
I know. I was exhausted.
You guys
All
are
credit
good.
to Ashley.
Probably, yeah, for the most part,
4
yeah.
kids.
She puts up with 4 kids because I'm here.
What was the rope situation by Grand Park?
So they have a tree. It's called Tree Runner. It's right by it's literally at Grand Park, right by like where the Colts walk out from the woods for their training camp practices and everything like that. So we went over there. She had an event to cover, so we went over there and we got to do it. It was awesome. Just doing like rope climbing, like you attach yourself to the ropes, you like do zip lines and everything like that. But the older 2 were able to do it. Nora was a little young, so she couldn't do it. But there's like gem mining and all that she was doing. So we did the Tree Runner course. There's multiple levels of difficulty and stuff. But like Rosie would probably get a kick out of it and all that. I think the Colts beat reporters need to try to see who can do it at training camp. The last one at Westfield, see who can pull it off.
Boy.
Get up there,
Sign me up.
I think there's
watch James Boyd cut people in line to run the 40-yard dash.
Yellow is the
I
easiest.
wasn't waiting in line. We had a practice to cover, so I stood up to the plate and I said, "Whose kid wants to lose?"
Yellow is the easiest. Green, then blue, and then black is the toughest. And black is like up there, like you're elevated quite a distance up there and stuff. But yeah, I think Colts beat writers. One last hurrah at Westfield. You need to do the ropes course at Tree Runner.
All right.
See who can do it. Get bragging rights.
Good info
KB,
to have.
run the 40 with me.
I can hear
Run the 40.
I can hear the Achilles
run
popping
the
from there.
40. Yeah, smart man. I did see a guy blow his knee out doing one of the activations over in Germany. Yeah, it was a flag football thing, and you could tell his body probably hadn't moved like that. Tried to juke out one of those like professional flag football players, and yeah, didn't well.
I'm at soccer practice last week, and I look at the other field, and one of the dads over there I know, he's got a knee brace on. I'm like,
Ooh, what happened?
What happened? He's like, dude, I tried to steal it from a kid last week at practice. I mean,
Scary stuff.
that's just you just can't. That can't be happening to me.
Chill ran down Kevin's spine. He tied his sweater around his waist a little tighter.
Literally, I'm like,
Somebody else was giving you props, though. Kyle from Fisher says he's only 27 in the sweatshirt around the waist when it gets toasty. That's a veteran move.
ooh. How old is Kyle?
He says he's 27. One of his go-to moves. It's the move. Don't let them
Look at
hate.
that.
Don't let them hate.
Was he raised by great grandparents here, or what?
How
What's
about
Don't let 'em
that?
hate.
Thank you, Kyle.
All the jackets come with elbow
Yeah,
patches on them.
Kyle's also
9
an
years
elementary
younger
school
than
teacher.
me. How about that?
What is the point of the weight wrapping around your waist? Like warming your butt? Like what are we doing here?
No, like
So
where?
you have your hands free.
Yes. Where else am I going to put it? Over
Set
my
it on
shoulder?
the bleacher that you were at.
I'm walking around.
Would it
I
be
gotta
worse?
go get a
If,
beer.
would it be
Gotta
worse
go
if
get
he
a hot
did it?
dog.
You should have prepared better.
If he did it preppy style and he just tied the sleeves around his neck and did that, is that
Oh,
worse?
I would definitely give you more judgment for
And
that.
about 2 black eyes on wavelength. They'd be picking me up. Chicago PD. My buddy's on the bottom of Clark and Addison.
Mark, let's
Got
get
2
to the
shiners.
business at hand, shall we?
Who is the GOAT?
I told you all that I was the greatest of all time.
Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Or GOAT?
This guy sucks.
Of the week.
All right, Mark, I'm going to let you start today with the, you want to go good goat, bad goat to start things
Let's go
off.
good. I will keep it simple. Pretty much what I just was talking about. The Tree Runner course in Westfield was awesome. In the Ignite game on Friday night, also great. The Fever preseason game on Saturday. A lot of women in sports we were supporting on the weekend. The Dykton family is out in full force. We had a great, fun, sports-filled weekend.
All right, we'll come back around the horn. James, what you got for me today?
My mom, shout out to the GOAT. She's retired, first Monday in quite some time that she doesn't go to work today.
Congratulations.
So that was awesome. Also went on the MS walk with her. She's been living with that for as long as I think I've been alive and has managed it very well. And that's why I kind of empathize with Fernando Mendoza and why he wants to stay home for the draft and for his mother and stuff like that. But again, my mom has a case where she's done very well, very mobile, very happy for that. But yeah, always happy to walk in that and hopefully raise money for a cure.
Well, good for her. They can come see you more often now, right?
Nah, I told her, stay there. Yeah, we're not doing all that now.
Mine's bittersweet. Alex Zanardi. You remember that name? Alex Zanardi passed away at the age of 59. He was a Formula One car racer. Then he came over to kart when that whole thing was going on with IndyCar and everything else. Won a bunch of races and then was in a horrible accident, lost his legs, came back, still competed a little bit, later would compete at a very high level in the Paralympic Games. As a matter of fact, 4 gold medals and 2 silvers in a career at the Paralympic Games, 12 gold medals, 5 silvers at the World Championships with the tricycle. They call it the 3-wheeled cycle that those guys just are amazing athletes when they do that. But he had been hit by a car during one of those, or he had a crash during one of those competitions back in 2020. Was really, really messed up. Took him 18 months to rehab that and has passed away now at the age of 59, 6 years after that. But what an unbelievable, legendary dude that guy was.
Yeah, I did not know him, but just seeing the support on social media was extremely impressive. Frankly, pretty moving, honestly, over the weekend from so many people in the racing world. I know Jeff tried to poo-poo on Matt from Iowa earlier and tried to compare it to driving from Evansville. Iowa is 7 hours away
did not poo-poo anything.
from the Legends Golf Club.
Did not poo-poo anything.
Evansville is 7 hours away. Shout out to listener Matt from Iowa, and thank you to all of our listeners who came out to the golf outing last Thursday. Matt drove from Iowa to play in the golf outing. Him and his wife came in for the weekend. He planned this around the golf outing. I'll never forget when the outing was announced a few months ago. Matt reached out and was like, I'm coming. I can't wait.
Beautiful.
And I was like, are you really going to show up? And lo and behold, there he was.
So he told you it was just like driving from Evansville.
Love chatting with Matt. Thank you.
It was not what I said. I was pointing out that there were people from all over the region that were coming in. You turned it into a competition all of a sudden.
Thank you to those that came from Evansville, but I will say Iowa, slightly longer drive. And that gas tank is no joke.
No, it is not. All right, Mark, who's the bad goat of the week?
I would say the passing of Merle Bettenhausen. I have a little bit of a relationship with them because Ashley's grandparents are cousins of the Bettenhausen family. So we met Merle at her grandpa's funeral a few months back. He was fantastic. Very light. He had a fantastic speech there and everything like that, but we lost him last week, at the end of last week, from a stroke. So we were planning to get together with him around the month of May. It didn't end up happening, and rest in peace to Merle, because he was a very, very funny and genuine nice man.
All right, James Boyd, what do you got?
Mine will be Joe Mazzulla. Did you all see after they lost Game 7? He said, the year we won, I felt just as empty as I did when we lost.
He's an odd cat.
I was like, get this weirdo off my screen. I'm sick of that.
They may take him off your screen in Boston.
He's a great coach, and I understand that he's a championship coach, and I expect him to be right back in the mix next year, but sometimes he can be annoying with just how detached, I guess, he is. I can't even say it's an act. Like, I think he's just genuinely a weird dude. But no one wants to hear that after you lose Game 7. I didn't care. Just as empty inside. Well, go to a therapist. Figure out why you don't care about this.
I'll tell you, the Sixers going to be living rent-free in the Celtics' head for a while. My bad goat going to be Jaylen Brown, blaming everything on the referees. Quote, Joel Embiid's a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history, but he flops. He knows it. This ain't breaking news. It is what it is. He says, if you're going to call push-offs, call that. Same move, same refs. Oh, it's nothing. It's play on, right? But you're going to call it on me? Everybody does it, but if it would have been me, it would have been an offensive foul. So it sounds like Jaylen Brown thinks the whole league is out to get him specifically.
I hate the NBA hating on moms. Why the hell is the lottery Sunday afternoon?
This has been consistent for you.
We should be celebrating the wonderful mothers in our lives, whether it's your respective moms, whether it's my great mom, Colleen Bowen, Maddie Bowen, Elisa Lubbers, my mother-in-law, just wonderful humans that deserve to be celebrated, and not to have Kevin sneaking away to dial up the lottery at 3:15 afternoon coming up here on Sunday. Why can't it be tonight? Why can't it be? I swear it used to be like on a Tuesday night.
At halftime of a game, right?
Before the game, halftime of a game, whatever. I don't need this Sunday afternoon on Mother's Day. Pathetic by the NBA. They hate moms.
Every time you shout out your mother-in-law, I think you're saying lovers. It's Lubbers, right?
Lubbers. L-U-B-B.
I was like, that's quite the name.
E-R-S.
Lubbers Lane.
Yeah, that's what I'll think of every time he says that. But clearly, KB needs some love because he's going through it right now. We're all going to be going through it. A couple of days.
The NBA hates moms. Period.
That's quite the headline.
Kevin's got his own reality going today all over the place.
I mean, they're really going to hate the Indiana moms if the Pacers don't get this top 4 pick.
Oh, they're going to. You know that lady in that 30 for 30? What was her name? From the car dealership?
Hell yeah.
Should be knocking on Adam Silver's door.
Hey, I want an honorary GOAT of the week as well, too. Once again, reminded about how great the people at the Fieldhouse are when you come to a game. Greeting you, have a great night, making sure you have everything, showing you to the seat in the proper way, all those things. Just unbelievably good people over there at Gamebridge, night in, night out, game in, game out. Whether we go in through the media entrance or we went in with tickets to see the Fever this past week, they're ready. They're ready for you to be there. They treat you like the guest you should be.
Yeah, I've met a lot of great people over there. Shout out to Jerry.
Yeah.
And shout out to Emax.
Yep.
2 great dudes.
Love them both. All right, coming up in a minute, we'll talk more about what happened over this past weekend. And did anybody make any money this weekend other than Kevin Bowen at the tables? Talk about it next.
Hey, it's Mark, and about a month ago, like I said, had some plumbing issues, did a little digging, saw we had bigger issues in our crawl space, and I knew I needed help, so I called the folks at Swenco, and they are helping me out as we speak right now. Should be done with the job a little bit later today, so looking forward to that being done. They're fixing my crawl space. They're making sure I don't have any more leaks or groundwater in there. They're making sure I am good to go from here on out. Adam and the guys came out to my house, gave me the lowdown, gave me the best and most thorough estimate I've ever seen as far as what needed to be done, how they were going to do it, and how long it was going to take. Not only that, they don't just do crawl spaces, they do basement and waterproofing, and they transform that wet basement into a dry basement, whether you want to do a man cave or you just have other plans or just want to be out of the wetness. Swenco is who I trust. They boast an A+ rating on Indy's most trusted. You can check them out on SwencoLLC.com for their website or 317-407-1868. The other great thing about Swenco is they're family owned and operated. They are local. They are not some big corporation or anything like that. So you are getting local people who live in your neighborhood helping you out with the issues that you have in your home. That number again, 317-407-1868, SwencoLLC.com. Will put your basement and foundation concerns in the rearview mirror as long as you call Swenco.
Andy Moore Group out in Avon. That campus is a one-stop shop for a variety of brands. How about the Nissan location? It's actually the number one Nissan dealer in our great state of Indiana for the past 8 years. Great affordability, over 90 new vehicles, under $30,000. If you want the used vehicle route, got over 70. That's under $15,000. And if you're looking for miles per gallon efficiency, which certainly we probably are right now, Sentra and Versa over 30 plus miles per gallon each on that end. So again, the Nissan dealer out there in Avon off of Rockville Road, Andy Moore Group campus. I drive a Rogue, so I'm a Nissan fan. Check them out today. Not only is the Nissan brand out there off of Rockville Road in Andy Moore Group's campus, but also Kia, Volkswagen, and Toyota as well. Head out to Rockville Road in Avon today, Andy Moore Group campus.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
There he is. He's already starting to move now down the backside. He was 5 or 6 behind the last horse. Great ground-saving trip by Jose Ortiz. Sometimes when you're that far back, Mike, that everybody makes a decision already, and you're left a lot of open lanes. Now he'll shift him out as he knows he's going to run into trouble if he doesn't, and he takes aim on his brother. And what a tremendous kick by Golden Tempo.
That's a lot of ground to make up in the stretch of the Kentucky Derby. He's 7 or 8 lengths back at the top of the stretch still.
The numbers on how far he ran are going to be amazing, right? Wow. And this is the pedigree of this horse. He has been dead last or second to last in almost every race he's run, but made a charge like this in a moment like this. A historic moment, Nick Luck.
He's a gamer, James Boyd. Golden Tempo. Not the fastest Kentucky Derby ever, 2 minutes and 2 seconds change. But he came from dead last to winning it at the line, going away. A 23-1 long shot gets the win there. He beat Renegade and your horse, Ocelli. Is it Ocelli or Ocelli? Because I could not hear the call. I could see it at the field house the other night, but I couldn't hear the call. So I'm not sure. But how about this, though? If you want to know if programming works, 19.6 million people watching the Kentucky
why do you
Derby.
think this year more than others?
I don't know.
I saw that number. Yeah, most watched Derby in how long? Or was it ever?
I think ever. It was record-setting.
Like, are that many people like, oh, Bob Baffert's back in it, we're going to tune in. I was a little struck by that number.
Yeah, 19.6 million across NBC and Peacock.
Certainly the race lived up to it.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, that was outstanding. And boy, Mark, that was quite the re-entry there with a little Star Wars background music as we.
How about this? Viewership peaked at 24.4 million during the last half of the race. Everybody remembered it was on and tuned in.
Yeah, and it's gotten later, it feels like. Now, maybe some of that was the lead-in to, Game 7, right, was on right after that, Celtics-Sixers.
Yeah.
So maybe you had a little bit of that back-to-back. But, again, and now we'll wait on. Mark, can you give us the Mr. Ed again to see if Golden Tempo is going to race the Preakness?
No, I might try to do it. Hey, yeah.
Boy.
Jeff shared earlier of Golden Tempo's frisky, so I wonder how they'll
judge to see if Golden Tempo's frisky.
I think they got one way of checking.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Usually very expensive frisky sessions, right?
What can you tell us?
Some of these horses?
Yeah.
What can you tell us?
Sundial. I'll leave it at that.
May 16th, the Preakness here coming up.
The team behind Golden Tempo took home $3.1 million in a winner's purse. And that part of that team, the first female trainer to win the Kentucky Derby, Sherry DeVoe, and first-time Derby winner jockey Jose Ortiz. Although I mentioned in the last check down, Ortiz has won a personal Triple Crown. He's won all three of the big races.
So how's the cut work, you think, with that? How much money goes to the trainer? How much money goes to the jockey?
Good question.
You said 3 point what?
3.1.
I'm legitimately asking that, by the way. I have no idea.
Renegade's second place finish brought him $1 million.
Like, is the jockey, I mean,
I
seemingly.
feel like the jockey will probably maybe get the least cut.
But but then I watched that race. I'm like, boy, the jockey had a lot of strategy involved to get Golden Tempo to the outside there.
But I kind of look at it like this, Kevin. When we talk about who won the Kentucky Derby, we never talk about the jockey. Like, we mention them on the day of, but we look at like the history and stuff like that. It's just not.
So the
first
owner
thing that
gets
comes up.
70%, trainer gets 20, jockey gets 10.
That would probably be my breakdown. Now, we're saying this without any information on this. We could be totally
Yeah, I mean,
wrong.
I know nothing, clearly.
So if you feel like you have more information than us, feel free to weigh in. But, yeah.
It just seemed like what Jose Ortiz did during that race was monumental to the proper whatever plan,
And is it up
execution
to
of
the
the
team?
plan.
Like, do you decide what cut goes where? If
Yeah.
you're
I don't know. Are some
certain
of these
team?
jockeys accomplished enough where they can say to the trainer, say to the owner, hey,
Yeah.
I'm this good. I deserve 20% cut.
This says, according to a quick AI search, says the 2026 jockey took home $310,000, 10% of the 3.1 million winner's share from a $5 million total purse. After typical deductions of 25% for their agent and 5% of their valet, the jockey's final pre-tax payday is roughly $217,000.
Wait, you said 25,000 is the cut for the agent?
25%?
25%.
25%?
Insane.
Whoa.
25% for the agent of who?
Is that the horse? I don't know.
Give me my cut. I don't think Drew Rosenhaus and Scott Boris are getting 25%.
Man.
So anything in there, Mark, about the
I
trainer?
feel like this is
Where'd that number
a little
come
inaccurate.
from? Is that AI number?
That's it. That's the quick AI overview of what they took home. $310,000 after taxes and everything else.
$217,000.
217.
25,000. It was 25%. I'm sorry.
Gosh, now I'm more confused. Anything about the trainer?
I don't know. I will check.
Yeah, because, I mean, to James's point, I mean, I think the trainer was obviously monumental, especially if the trainer has been with said horse for, whatever, multiple years.
I built this horse.
Yeah, right.
You just rode the horse.
And again, some of these jockey additions
It's about the same. Usually, trainer and jockey get the 10% each.
Interesting.
That is.
I'll take that. I'll take 10% of 3.1. Call it a day, Mark. What do you
You
think?
don't have to tell me twice.
All right.
Did you say valet? They valet the horse?
I
Really?
guess so.
They just take him down to 4th Street afterwards to
Uh-huh.
celebrate?
Yeah.
That's where he gets frisky?
Let's go to Old Red or whatever.
Big Red. It works.
Big Red, the cream soda.
Oh, okay. Coming up in just a minute, we're going to talk NBA draft with NBA.com's Kristen Peak. We'll tell you about that because Mother's Day also means Kevin's favorite day, Lottery Day, especially when you combine the two. You can't wait. We'll talk about it next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings, that is indoor and outdoor concrete. So we're talking about garages, basements, patios, porches, and sidewalks. They are the best in the business. Again, indoor and outdoor, I would encourage you to head to their website, galaxyconcretecoatings.com. Once you are there, you will see exactly kind of style-wise what they offer you. Other things I think you would care about, manufacturers upgrade the warranty from 15 years to lifetime, and also very efficient. We got a new sidewalk, new front porch put in a couple years ago. In and out in about 24 hours, so not too much of a hassle there whatsoever. Again, it's indoor and it's outdoor concrete. It's Galaxy Concrete Coatings, garages, basements, patios, porches, and sidewalks. Contact them today, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mark, what's your favorite of all the Star Wars movies and in the Star Wars universe?
Boy, I don't know. I'm kind of with Kevin and James. I've seen some of them, but I would say the one, I don't even know which one it is. The one where he says, Luke, I'm your father. That one. Return of the Jedi. Which one's that? Empire Strikes Back?
I like Empire Strikes Back, yeah.
Okay.
The second one that they made in their timeline, I think, is episode 5. But, yeah, that's my favorite there. By the way, a couple of folks texting in before we get to our guest here. Nick the Quaker, Greg, Jordan and Carmel. Owner gets 80%, trainer gets 10%, jockey gets 10% of the winnings at the Kentucky Derby.
Interesting.
And the horse gets nothing. Boy.
Yeah, I don't know about nothing.
I think they're pretty well taken care of, those horses.
All right, if you say so.
All right. That's money now because the real money comes in the breeding.
This is getting way into
we'll talk about that later on. In the meantime, though, we're excited to be talking about the NBA draft and really where the Pacers are going to end up in the lottery coming up on Sunday. Will tell us everything. And NBA.com's Kristen Peak is kind enough to join us this morning on the Fan Morning Show via the Payless Liquors hotline. Good morning, Kristen Peak. Enough of the Kentucky Derby talk. You're on to the NBA lottery now, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. This is the best time of the year for me. I have been following these players and the teams and who's tanking, who's not since the very beginning of the season. These players I've known, and I've called games for NBA TV since the time they were 14 and 15. So it's coming up upon graduation. I call draft night graduation night for me.
So, Kristen, can you explain a little bit about that? You touched on it there, but I've followed your work for years now, especially so when I was covering the Pacers full time for Indy Star. I've transitioned to the NFL, but still keep up with your work because, like you said, you follow these dudes for, 5-6 years before they hit kind of like these really huge national and kind of global stages. So can you explain the background a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I started off strictly just covering grassroots basketball, and then that turned into being a draft analyst for about 6 or 7 years, and now I'm back to color commentating and doing a little bit of draft work here and there for NBA.com and Hoops HQ, Seth Davis's site. But mainly it's sticking in the grassroots side, getting to know these kids, these players, and seeing their progression. And it's been a very fulfilling part of my job, because a lot of people that just cover the NBA draft, they're coming in at the last minute as NBA beat writers or NBA national talking heads or writers, and they're trying to play catch up, where it's like, no, I know this. So when I see people that are questioning Darren Peterson's work ethic or what really happened at Kansas, I'm like screaming from the mountaintops, like, he's good. He is fine. Like, what happened at Kansas was very unfortunate, but Darren Peterson is going to be just fine in the NBA.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to throw that your way. There's been a lot of chatter, a lot of conversation about Darren Peterson, how much he loves basketball. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Shaedon Sharpe situation with Kentucky a few years ago, although Shaedon never played for Kentucky. But can you speak to perhaps what you know about Darren and maybe the character of the kid? Because the talent we know is obvious, but there were some up and down moments throughout his lone year at Kansas.
Here's what happened at Kansas. He started the season. I went to preseason practices, and it was one of those things. First, I went to BYU, and I saw A.J. DeBonta, and I was like, oh, no one's touching this kid. He put on 12 pounds. He grew an inch and a half. Like, he's going to be number one. Then I went to Kansas. I saw DP for a couple days of practice, and I was like, oh, no, this kid's number one. And then after that, before the season started, he started dealing with full body cramps, which, like, I don't know if you've ever had a Charlie horse in the middle of the night, but that's just in your calf, and you have to get up right away and stretch that out. Imagine that same feeling all over your body, in your back, in your arms, not being able to figure out what's wrong. So you're dealing with that for the first time in your career. Then you have a hamstring issue. And anytime in the NBA, especially, a player's coming back from a hamstring issue, it's a matter of 2 to 3 months. And so DP coming back when he did, it was minute restrictions. And then you're dealing with, okay, is this my hamstring tightening up, or am I getting full body cramps again? And Kansas erred on the side of caution on that. Then he was sick for a couple games, and you had some major national talking heads saying, well, I hear he doesn't love the game of basketball and his NIL check didn't clear. That is completely categorically not true and not what happened. And I find it hard to believe that someone that is saying that so recklessly is more plugged in at Kansas and with Darren Peterson and his situation than I am. So I'm here saying that's not true. And then when you talk about his work ethic and a teammate, he was a great teammate at Kansas. He's someone they would practice in the practice gym, and then he would go into Allen Fieldhouse and do his own shooting drills there because he wanted in-game situations, in-game scenarios. So when Phil Beckner, who's Damian Lillard's trainer, would come out, he would train with DP inside Allen Fieldhouse. Same with Steph Curry's trainer, who came out in the preseason. So you talk about a person with work ethic, DP, it's second to none. And it's the reason why I don't think he's going to fall past 2 or 3 in this draft.
Strong defense of Darren Peterson right there. Kristen Peak, we always appreciate her time with us. Now, Kristen, you are usually you are very gracious with your time, but you're usually doing it from like a time zone that's not near ours. I'm a little nervous to ask, what time is it where you are right now?
It's 6:08. Like, it's not that bad. It's not as bad. And I was telling your producer, like, because I live in Vegas, like, I have to get up earlier and earlier to go on a run because it's getting warmer and warmer. But the only person that's upset right now is my dog, Gary, who's, like, looking at me like, why are you talking right now?
But Gary's like, I've heard this Darren Peterson defense like 37 times right now. Yeah. He knows more about Darren Peterson than, frankly, I do, probably. Kristen, thank you for the time. We appreciate that. Okay, let's go. You said 2 or 3. Is that a Cameron Boozer you like challenging for the 2 pick? Are you on the Caleb Wilson front? Are you in on the Darius Acuff hype after he kind of seemingly risen through the back half of the college season? How do you see maybe some of those other spots in the top 5?
Yeah, listen, I think A.J. DeBonta solidified himself as the number one. And what he did in the back half of the season, what he did in the Big 12 tournament where broke the scoring record. He had 95 points in 3 games previously held by Kevin Durant. So I don't know any team that wouldn't take him. If you are the Pacers and you are sitting at 2, I just said, DP would be 2 off the board. I would see the Pacers more so just going after and getting their guy, whether that's Cameron Boozer or Caleb Wilson. When you look at Cameron Boozer, he is the winningest player in high school basketball. The accolades that he did was unbelievable. 4 state championships, a Chipotle National, 3 gold medals where he's MVP at the U17s, and 3 Peach Jams at 15, 16, and 17 level. No other player has ever done that. Then he goes to Duke, and they win the ACC. He wins ACC Player of the Year. He wins all these accolades. He is a winner. He is a connector. I know people see him maybe in their big board 3 or 4 because of his low ceiling, high floor. I don't care. He's going to help you win games. And when you're the Pacers and you're looking at the position he is, you guys are good at the guard. So you don't need another DP. Now, I don't want to eat my words and have this be a Wemby draft where it was, Victor Scoot, and Amen Thompson is coming out looking like he should have been the number 2 player off that board. But for the Pacers specifically, you're either looking at Cameron Boozer or Caleb Wilson, who has a high ceiling, one of the best 2-way players until he broke his wrist. And then North Carolina didn't win a single game the rest of the season after he went out with an injury. And then Hubert Davis lost his job. That's how impactful he was for that North Carolina team. So that's like the top tier. I know people are like, Darius Acuff, but I just think when you're looking at the body of work and the upside of those 4 players in tier 1, you can't go wrong.
Let's say it's Caleb Wilson. We'll play the what-if game. Got Tyrese coming back. They get a Caleb Wilson. Can they go right back into the mix and go right up to the top of the Eastern Conference again and start swinging with everybody, or are they going to have to ramp up again?
I don't think they're going to have to ramp up. I mean, yeah, I do think it's going to take Caleb or any of the players a little time to get their feet wet in the NBA, get a feel for the pace, the spacing. But what we saw what he did at North Carolina is he kept receipts about what people were saying to him about going to McDonald's All-American, going up against Darren Peterson. DP was on his team. He didn't pass on the ball. He takes things personally. So you want a player like that on your team, similar to what Tyrese did coming in. He came in through the COVID draft. He's like, I cannot wait to play. Goes to Sacramento, feels a certain way about it, and then wanted to make them pay and feel a certain way, and that's what he's doing in Indiana. And so when you have a guy like that, like Ty, at the point guard, and then a guy who loves the game the way that Caleb does and loves to prove people wrong, that's a good mixture. And I think you can find a lot of chemistry and a lot of harmony in that. Similarly, but different positions, what we're seeing with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe in Philadelphia. Yes, Tyrese is the veteran guard, but he made space for VJ to come up, and they've really found a way to make things work on the team.
Again, we're talking to Kristen Peak, NBA draft analyst for NBA.com, as well as Hoops HQ, does great work, so make sure you go check out her stuff. Kristen, going back to Cameron Boozer, I have been on the Cameron Boozer train, basically saying we shouldn't just overlook this kid because he maybe isn't as athletic as the others. Is that the knock on him? Because you laid out all the accolades, and every time I looked at him this year, I'm like, wait a second, this is the best player in college basketball, and are we taking it for granted what he can do outside of the athleticism? Because it's not just him putting up a bunch of points, at least in my eyes. It's the processing, the passing, the playmaking, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, in any other draft year, the fact that we're talking about Cameron Boozer as pick number 3 or 4 in this draft is crazy to me, because it's exactly what you said. You don't want to be overthinking this. And that's why the draft is so fun, because we don't have a look into the future. We can't. I think Wemby is the only one. Wemby and LeBron James are the only one where we're like, no, he's going to hit. Like he's going to be a generational bona fide star in the NBA. But, yes. The short answer is yes. Are we overthinking Cameron Boozer? Absolutely. And you talk about, the lack of lateral explosiveness, what he makes up for it in his passing, especially his outlet passing. I can remember in high school, I have never seen a player advance the ball the way Cameron Boozer does. And it's very reminiscent. People call him, they're like, oh, he's the next Kevin Love. Why is that a knock? And by the way, I think he's more athletic than Kevin Love. But Kevin Love is still playing in the NBA. He's won a championship. So if you're looking at getting a Kevin Love type player as a top 3 in the NBA, I mean, yeah, depending on what sort of all-star status AJ or DP goes to, Cameron Boozer, I think any 4 of them, if you get a top 4 pick in this draft, they are a player that you can either add to an already established franchise or you can build around them. That's how good this draft is.
Kristen, thanks so much for stopping by and sharing your perspective with us. We can't wait for Sunday, except for Kevin Bowen, who wants you to talk to the commissioner and see if we can have the lottery on any other day other than Mother's Day. We prefer that?
Exactly. We should be celebrating our moms. And why can't we do this tonight? Why can't we do it tomorrow night for the lottery there? So, yeah. I'm pretty adamant.
Thank you for the reminder that it's Mother's Day. I did not know that. Thank you.
Yes. Well, there you go. I hope Gary and the dog heard that.
Have a great day, Kristen. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. Anytime.
There you go. Kristen Peak joining us in the show this morning.
Strong defense of Darren Peterson.
Yeah, I'm glad she was able to add some perspective there. And again, she does a lot of I believe it's NBA Futures, which is the coverage of these kids when they're 15, 16 years old. So she's seeing Cooper Flagg, AJ DeBanza, and Darren Peterson and others throughout the years, more so than we have. And I thought she made some very good points there about just knowing the character of the person before the spotlight kind of hits them. So, yeah, based off what she was saying, if Darren Peterson's there at 2, you take him at 2.
So DeBanza 1, Peterson 2. Does that seem to be the going for just about everybody?
Yeah, that seems to be probably the consensus order for the top 2.
All right, we'll get closer and closer and keep you up to date on anything that's draft related right here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. In the meantime, let's get to it.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We're focused on the lottery next Sunday, but we do have plenty of NBA playoff games to tell you about. A couple of Game 7s on Sunday passed. The Detroit Pistons 116-94 winners over the Orlando Magic. Cade Cunningham comes through again, JB. 32 points, 12 assists. Tobias Harris, by the way, had 30 points, and your guy Jalen Duren had 15 points and 15 boards. It was a one-man show for Orlando. Paolo Banchero the last 3 games, and nobody else really showed up.
Yeah, Paolo and the Pips. Not a lot of help there. So that was rough offseason for them coming up. Got a lot of questions. But overall, shout out to Detroit, man. Came back and got it done.
All right, the Cleveland Cavaliers advanced to the second round with a win over the Toronto Raptors, 114-102. Game 7 in Cleveland yesterday. Jared Allen, 22 points, 19 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell, pretty dependable, had 22 points there. And now you'll have Cleveland and Detroit playing one another in the next round. Who you like there?
Yeah, boy, I think that's a great coin flip. A great coin flip series. You know, the start of the year, you probably would have expected those seeds to maybe be reversed based off where they have it right now. So, I know we've talked about it all morning long. I really think the East is very wide open as we get to this Final Four here. And honestly, as a Pacer fan, you watch it and kind of pains you to think what could have been.
Tonight, we will see a couple of Game 1s. The New York Knicks hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. Looks like Joel Embiid is probable for the game. He banged up his hip the other night.
Yeah, I mean, what doesn't he bang up when he's playing basketball? So I would expect him to go at this point. He plays through pretty much everything he possibly can, and they need him. They need the big fella down there terrorizing the paint.
That one will start at 8 p.m. tonight. At 9:30 this evening, the Minnesota Timberwolves, hoping to get Anthony Edwards back, take on the San Antonio Spurs. Kevin, is this the series, the next series or two, where Victor Wembanyama truly steps up and says, you know what, I'm here. I've arrived, and you better stop my team?
Well, I mean, I know he was a little banged up there in the opening series, but I thought he was pretty good when he was out on the floor. So, obviously, if you look at it, Vegas expects the Spurs and Thunder to take care of business pretty handily here. We'll obviously await, Anthony Edwards injury updates. Could he play somewhat early in this series? Luka Doncic for the Lakers, but I think all eyes point to Thunder, Spurs, Western Conference Finals, SGA, Wemby.
All right, Pittsburgh Pirates got a win over the Reds yesterday, 1-0. A pitcher's duel coming after the Reds were anything but full of pitching duel prospects over the weekend, Kevin. They will go into a series now this week against the Cubs, and I don't know what to make of this team. They were cruising along, fell apart for a couple of games, played well defensively and with the pitching yesterday, but they've had a rough 5-6 days here.
Yeah, I'm not going to overreact too much, but Yeah, got to show up against the Cubbies because right now, especially at Wrigley, the Cubs have been a juggernaut.
Yeah, they got swept. The Reds ended up getting swept by the Pirates over the weekend. Cubs did the opposite. They swept the Diamondbacks by an 8-4 count, and you went to one of those games. Just checking it out.
I did. Yep. Saying. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't sing "Go Cubs Go" there at the end. That would be blasphemy of me.
At some point, though, is there enough alcohol in you that it'll go there?
But you can't, cross the line too much from a fandom standpoint. But take me out to the ball game. I gave a nice, effort there, and really it was kind of a low scoring game. Ian Happ went yard, and Shoto, is that right, Mark?
Shota Imanaga.
Boy, he's got some great locks, and he was just mowing them down. Very quick game.
Yeah, he made short work of the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, you get that in the pitch clock going, you can get out of there about two hours and change.
Dodgers beat the Cardinals by a score of 4-1 yesterday as Los Angeles snaps a 4-game losing streak. I read an article over the weekend, Mark, that Shohei Ohtani is one of the favorites this year, if he keeps on going the way he is, to possibly win a Cy Young. Can you imagine if he pitches well the rest of the year, gets a Cy Young to add to his MVP collection?
No, I'd sign up for that.
Oh, insane player. The White Sox lose in San Diego 4-3 was the final score there. As you pointed out, Kevin, Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Cubs go tonight. It's the start of a 3-game series. It'll be in Chicago. The Cubs, of course, have won 5 games in a row. Also, the Cardinals will be hosting the Milwaukee Brewers this evening. White Sox will be in Los Angeles to take on the Angels. So that's what's happening as far as baseball is concerned. Indiana Fever over the weekend finished up their preseason. They beat Nigeria's national team 105-57 on Saturday night. You were at that game, Mark Dykton.
Yes, sir.
Man, oh man. Girls all into Caitlin Clark. They were pretty excited when she was out on the floor.
Yeah, Addie was all locked in the whole game and everything like that. The other two were trying to catch balls and towels from Freddie Fever and everything like that. But yeah, locked in. They had a great time.
I was at that game with my son as well, and we watched Caitlin Clark score 12, but Kelsey Mitchell continues to get it done. 17 points. They just got options everywhere this year, James.
Yeah, they have championship expectations, and anything short of that, I would think, is probably a disappointing season.
The Indy Ignite, the women's professional volleyball team that plays in the MLV, and also out of Fishers, finished up their regular season. They got a win yesterday over the San Diego Mojo, 23-5. They advance now to the MVL Championships. Will be coming up this week. They'll play a neutral court game in Frisco, Texas, to start things off on Thursday against Omaha. So it could have championships all over the place here, James.
How's that format work? Just one match, and then you go to the championship if you win?
Right now, I see they play 4-seed Omaha at 7 p.m. on Thursday. I'll follow up and see what the format looks like on that one. But they've been playing well all year long. Obviously, the team to beat there. Anything else you wanted to throw in? Or one racing thing, there was NASCAR action over the weekend. You ever watch NASCAR anymore?
No.
No? You're not into it? Chase Elliott got the win at the Texas Motor Speedway over the weekend. So.
Yeah, IndyCar-wise, they'll be out back on the track coming up Friday. Reminder, it's a road course action this weekend, so that'll be a 4:30 green flag coming up on Saturday there. Alex Palou has been absolutely dominant in the road course over the last 3 years, 3 wins. Remember, Colton Herta winning just a soaked road course event 1 year over there, and I also remember sitting in some very chilly weather back in the day, but early forecast looks, I think, fairly decent for this weekend. So before we get back to the oval and the 110th running of the 500, that'll be next week for practice. Later this week, you'll get the road course action coming up Friday and Saturday.
All of your IndyCar info brought to you from the Hensley Legal Group Command Center here in studio. It happens. Hire Hensley. Mark, looks like a pretty good day on store later on today after going through some chilly and even wet days over the last 4 or 5. Let's find out exactly what's happening from Fox 59.
We're going to have partly sunny skies today with a chance for spotty showers and thunderstorms, especially by the evening and overnight. It'll be warm and breezy with a high near 75 degrees. I'm Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Morning, everyone. Looks like it's going to be a pretty decent day today. We could see highs in the 70s before it's all said and done. We appreciate the folks at Fox 59 for keeping us abreast on all the weather stuff. But it's also the 4th of May, in case you've noticed Mark playing some Star Wars music over the last couple of re-entries to get you in the mood today, Mark.
Got to do it. The nerds requested it.
All right. In the meantime, we're going to check out what's going on with the Indiana Pacers and everything else. Tony East joins us now, one of our favorite people to talk about the Indiana Pacers with, and he joins us on the Payless Liquors hotline. Are you a Star Wars guy at all, Tony? Because the rest of the crew here, I might be the only one that's seen all of the movies.
I am not a Star Wars guy, so I will join the other group. But I thought that was the biggest layup ever of him saying, I'm doing it for the nerds. And you say, speaking of nerds,
well,
here I am.
You're too nice to us. I couldn't go there yet. So here we are. We're a couple of days away from, as Kevin points out, Mother's Day, which is also draft lottery. You're just sitting around waiting right now, right? Just trying to see what happens next.
It's like their whole offseason depends on what happens that day. As you know, Rick talked to you guys about, as General Manager Chad Buchanan has said, it's not only a huge day draft-wise, but just for like every single thing that they want to do. It's going to be massive.
Well, Tony, one, I'd like to say thank you for moving your time today. We had Tony scheduled for 9 a.m. originally, and then Kristen said she would do 9, which is really 6 her time. I thought, that's a little crazy, but thank you for pivoting. And then number two, from what I understand, because I was talking to you about this last week, did your mother agree to kind of move Mother's Day as well? Because I celebrated last weekend with my mom, or this past weekend with my mom.
She is the best and has agreed for a 1-week backwards relocation, yes. So I still have to send her something more. I'll be up in Chicago for the lottery, though.
Okay. And then on a more serious note, Tony, when it comes to this pick, how big do you think those ping pong balls are for the direction of the franchise? I mean, obviously, they expect to be good next year. They have Zubats, but what could adding a top 4 pick mean?
Yeah, it's so rare you get a chance to do this in the middle of an era where you're very good, right? They've made it very clear that they view the window as now with both the words they've said and the actions they've done with, trading for Ivica Zubats and the way they've really structured their team and their contractual window. They think they can win something major in the next 2-3 years with this thing, but very rarely do teams get a chance to have either an off-ramp where your next era with Tyrese Halliburton, whoever else becomes very clear if it's this player they draft, or a chance to get a premier asset to acquire someone else who can help your immediate window at a high level, right? And, throughout history, teams have had varied levels of success doing the 2 timelines thing, but a lot of teams have had success with either their next era becoming really good or a big trade like that. So that opportunity is incredibly rare for teams that even have recently made the finals and they find themselves with a chance to get it. But it's a coin flip, and that's always extremely alarming.
Again, Tony East, obviously Circle City Spin is a great, great follow there for not only Pacers coverage, but Fever coverage as well. Tony, let's say they do get the top 4 pick. Is there anything else they could do this offseason? I'm probably speaking more towards the finances of the team when you consider what the salary slot will be for that top 4 pick. Let's say they get the 3rd pick. What else could they do to try and improve their roster?
Yeah, not to get too in the weeds, like you picked a specific pick, so I could go that route. But generally, the salary value of the pick is high enough that their offseason's probably basically just that. I mean, they could do a bunch of minor things at the back with some minimum guys, Kobe Brown, Micah Potter, Quentin Jackson, in and out perhaps, depending on what they identify as their needs. But to me, especially with, 3rd or higher, given what those salaries are, they'd be pretty close to the first apron. And, we always talk about the Pacers and their decisions regarding the luxury tax, but we heard Kevin Pritchard say it last year when he was discussing Miles Turner negotiations that they were, at least considering or wary of that apron that they might have been pushing against had they signed him to, a bigger contract or the one he ended up getting. And so, look, if they want to be good, they're going to have to pay for their team to be good. And so it might be just something they consider doing anyway, but I'd imagine that the pick getting them that close, honestly, maybe they consider shedding a little money or finding ways to save a little bit. So I would not imagine them adding much more if they do, in fact, keep their pick, especially I think if it's 3 or higher. 4, they have a little bit of room, but not a lot.
Could you remind us what are the punishments if you do go into the first apron for teams out there?
Yeah, how excited is everybody? I guess it's a nerdy day with the Star Wars stuff, right?
It is.
You can no longer use the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. You cannot send out more salary than you take in trades. Those are the biggest ones, at least in terms of the way a team actually operates. Like, it becomes a hard cap if you do certain things, but if you're under it and you don't do any of the things that make it a hard cap, it doesn't actually matter. You're just effectively over the tax a certain amount. But if you cross that threshold, then you can't do any of those things, and you can't at all. And if you ever would do that, you'd have to immediately get under that apron. So it's another restriction or barrier that teams do not want to cross.
Tony East writes for several publications, also talks about the Pacers on Locked On Pacers, the podcast, joining us on the Payless Liquors hotline. As you watch the rest of the NBA playoffs, specifically the Eastern Conference right now, Boston gets upset by the Sixers, and now the Knicks are going to be moving on here. So what have you learned about the East and the Pacers' place in it when they get back into it?
Yeah, we'll see what Detroit does, I think, after they won 60 games the rest of this postseason run. I don't think anyone was particularly impressed with them beating Orlando after Franz Wagner got hurt. But, to me, Boston and Detroit were the two teams to watch in this first round. And maybe New York becomes this because they've been pretty good the last couple postseasons. But, who else is threatening at the top of the East are the Pacers, who have already beaten the Knicks twice. The Celtics are clearly a much worse team than the group that they played in the playoffs in the conference finals 2 years ago. And Detroit is, they won a series that's good, but pretty unproven. The East looks maybe it's deep. The bottom half of the East did play better than I thought they would in the first round, but the top of the East doesn't seem as fortified as it maybe seemed like it was heading into this postseason, especially as the Celtics are at a crisis of not only talent but play style. They have such a unique way they play that it won them a title. They shouldn't apologize for that, but clearly has a lot of low floor stuff that can happen in the postseason that they kind of have to address with their team as good as they think it is. And maybe Detroit looks awesome the rest of the way and they look scary for future seasons. But, if you're the Pacers right now, I think you're thinking man, the team they have now is probably good enough to keep up with some of these teams. And they've beaten basically all these teams in major settings before. That's without adding anybody. If they were able to get even better in the offseason in some way, assuming Tyrese Halliburton is name your number 85, 90% of what he was before, they got a chance to be right up with this group pretty quick because no one looks that impressive to me.
Tony, I do want to pivot a little bit to the Fever. We know their season opener is Saturday against the Dallas Wings. Just wrapped up the preseason this weekend. And in regards to Caitlin Clark and coming off the 13-game season she had last year, not a lot of opportunities to get out there and play. She's fully healthy now. Is she an MVP candidate right now? And I know that sounds kind of crazy to say coming off an injury-riddled season, but is that the kind of pressure she's facing?
Yeah, I think she's that level of player when healthy. I mean, the Fever offense, when she's out there, is the best, one of the best in the league, not even debatable, really. The way they play is mostly entirely centered on her strengths, and it should be that way. She's that good. And if she actually is able to produce, she didn't shoot very well last year, but she was in and out of the lineup and clearly hurt at times, but she shot great in college. And the year before that, her passing is the best in the league. If she's healthy, yes, she is an MVP candidate. I mean, that system got Kelsey Mitchell, who is not as good as Caitlin Clark, but is exceptional, 4th in MVP last year, right? 5th. She was made first team All-W. So I think she will be a candidate. I think Asia is going to be hard to dethrone, but also Nafisa Collier is not going to play till June, July, right? That was the other person kind of up there. So I think she should be considered one of the top 3 candidates for it this year. She has financial reasons to want to win MVP this year. And her preseason, that second game in particular, I think you were there against Dallas, really showed when she can get to the cup, she had 19 points and a half. She can do a lot still with the Rock. And if she's able to do that healthily for 35-plus games, I certainly think she'll be a candidate this year.
Tony, last one, going back to the Pacers here in this lottery week for just a second. I don't know if you caught Chad Buchanan on with J&V last week, but Chad said skill set wise, kind of adding a bigger scoring wing, I think I'm saying that correctly, is what this team kind of feels like, is potentially kind of missing heading into next year. When you hear that in regards to the offseason as a whole, whether it's draft, whether they don't get the pick and they've got to acquire it in some other way, when you hear those words, what kind of goes through your mind and kind of how the Pacers, will try and go about this offseason, albeit 6 days from now, is really going to shape things?
Yeah, that of the four guys describes AJ the best, I think, certainly of the actual draft prospects themselves. But you look at the team they have right now, and I think it's going to be very tempting for people to think about the player they would draft and how they fit with the Pacers that exist right this second. And that's not irrelevant. It does matter how that player would help them now because they're trying to win right now. But they have to figure out how that player will fit with Tyrese in a couple years too. In theory, that would be top of mind. So I think that type of player, like a wing-sized guy or a bigger guy, especially if they can score in different ways, does fit well with Tyrese Halliburton. And so that is, I think, a logical fit for them. But if they don't keep the pick, to your point about their full offseason, that kind of thinking from the team would be, they need that kind of player anyway. Like losing Ben Mathurin in the offseason, their bench is certainly maybe not lacking completely, but they have TJ McConnell, he can get in the paint, and then the rest of their bench is a lot of more play finisher types, I would say, or ball mover types or movement guys, and that's fine. It's worked well enough for years, but they certainly could use another ball handler, paint pressure, and certainly scorer kind of type with that unit. And if that happens to be the guy they draft, I think that would be a logical, natural convenience for this coming season. If it happens to be somebody they can get in free agency, same thing, but it'd be pressure for minutes for Jarris Walker and Ben Shepherd, and if the player's not better than those guys, there's no point of playing them. So it matters the quality of player they get just as much as the skill set, but it is something I think they could use right now.
Tony East writes at Forbes Sports, Circle City Spin, also Locked On Pacers podcast, joining us here on the Payless Liquors Hotline. Always good to talk hoops with you, buddy. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me, guys. May the force be with you today.
See, there you go.
Boo.
There you go. You're all fired up, James.
I'll see Tony in 30 minutes, and I'll definitely roll my eyes at him when I see him.
Mark's calling him a nerd right now as he's hanging up.
Mark's calling somebody a nerd. I love that.
Oh, dang.
That's a good thing. Why is that a
fired
bad?
by the boss man.
Is that a bad thing, Mark?
Boy.
No.
I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily.
Man.
They run the world.
Pretty much. All right, coming up in a minute, big finish. Some updated news on Caitlin Clark you might find interesting. We'll talk about it next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Mark. Those summer temps right around the corner. A little bit chilly this weekend, but still the sun is starting to come out. Maybe you're switching between the air conditioner and the heat. That looks to be the case this week as well. One thing I don't have to worry about is my HVAC system at my home. That's because I trust the folks at Love Heating and Air Conditioning. They helped me out a couple of years ago swapping out our 2-decade-old system that came with our home for brand new Heil equipment, and we haven't looked back. They'll actually be in my home tomorrow for our spring tune-up, so looking forward to seeing the guys stop by and make sure my house is running at full efficiency when those summer temperatures get over there. You have any questions, give them a call today. 317-353-2141 is the phone number, or check them out online at love-hvac.com, whichever you choose. Talk to a customer service rep, set up a house call. You can see all the products and services they provide, like the Heil system they installed in my home a couple years ago. Of course, you can also read customer reviews, and if you need to take that next step and need some financial help, they also offer financial options as well. John and Chris Love, they're fourth-generation owners. They'll make sure you're a satisfied customer just like the Dykton household is. Plus, Love Heating Air, serving Indianapolis and Central Indiana, and family-owned and operated for over a century. They're local, and they will take care of you. 317-353-2141 or online, love-hvac.com.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
What's this one, Mark? I don't recognize this one.
The Mandalorian theme song.
I did not see the Mandalorian series. Heard pretty good things about it, though. Did you watch it at all?
We watched season 1, never watched season 2. And I guess there's a movie coming out in a couple weeks, so we have not seen it yet, though.
Oh.
My wife likes Pedro Pascal, but she's mad that in season 1 he was wearing a helmet the whole time, so you never got to see his face. I was like, okay, well. Don't know what to tell you about that.
Is that easier or better for an actor if you used to have a mask on?
Well, that's why I was like, was he actually in the show? Like, they could have just thrown Joe Schmo out there. You wouldn't have known. You'd say Pedro Pascal's in it. If you never saw his face, how do you know?
Sure, he's in there. It's the Fan Morning Show, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Also later on tonight, Elvis says, I can't believe the NBA is overlapping their 2 playoff games tonight. That seems kind of dumb.
Yeah, they've been doing that all playoffs, and I don't understand why. That is very annoying to me.
Well, I get it in round 1 because you have so many series going on.
Well,
But
yeah, that's fair.
Round 2, you would think your Eastern could start at 7, your Western could start at 9:30.
Yeah.
Hell, just go like 7 and 9. I mean, no one's really going to care about the start of the Western. If you're nervous about the Western game going so deep into the night, you could start that a little bit earlier. By the way, I just saw Shams Charania reporting that the Magic have fired Jamal Mosley, former Rick Carlisle assistant, right?
I believe so. He had taken the Magic to the playoffs 3 straight years, but 3 straight first-round exits.
Kind of wild. You're a game away from pulling off one of the bigger upsets in NBA history, and now here you are. So
Billy Donovan on line 1.
Is Billy Donovan going to stay with the Magic for
Missoula going to make it
longer
in Boston?
than a week this time? Didn't he take the job for a week, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Right after Florida won their second title back in the day there. So, wait, Joe Mazzulla might get fired in Boston? Is that a thing?
Dude, they are mad up there. I think it would be up to the fans. They would. I don't know that Brad Stevens is going to do that. They were mad at Brad yesterday online, too.
Seems a tad over the top.
Yeah, that's not even a question.
In Boston?
He'll be back.
To fire Joe Mazzulla?
Yeah, that's not even a question.
They want somebody's hide over there.
Brad
Losing
Stevens
the first round.
Seems to have a little bit more of an even keel temperament than
I just
Boston
enjoyed
fans.
watching Boston people melt down online yesterday. Just like I watch Cubs fans sometimes, Mark, I like watching Boston fans in general. They're having all kinds of problems over there this last couple of weeks.
Your timeline's pretty dull then right now because the Cubs are rolling, so there's no complaining going on.
No, not right now. You're fine. But, like, generally during the course of the season, they lose one game and they want to fire everybody online.
You need to get off Twitter.
There's a story in the Star this morning about Caitlin Clark continuing to be the most marketable player in the WNBA, just edging out Angel Reese in terms of scores for how many people know you, what's your social media reach like, all kinds of things like that. And Reese has a bigger social media reach, but Caitlin Clark, clearly, she's filling up arenas and has 44 games coming up on national TV, James.
Yeah, she's the needle mover, so that is not surprising at all. But Angel is also big in the sense of, like you said, all the above. Social media, TikTok, Instagram. So we're in a space now where players are brands. And you're seeing that brand and that kind of widespread net really go everywhere, whether that's makeup, gym shoes, obviously hoops, but there's a lot to make money off of, and I'm glad they're doing it.
I think Lexi Hall now has like a makeup line and a clothing line, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting some of the makeup for these early morning shows here, cover some of the blemishes.
I just know Lexi Hull always tells me to remove my shoes at the airport. She's doing like the security. You ever see the security line?
Yeah.
She's always telling me, I take your shoes off. Okay, sorry, Lexi, I will.
Well, when Lexi speaks, you listen, right, Mark?
She was very friendly, Mark. Remember we had her and Grace Berger in studio a couple years ago?
She was great.
Yeah, they both are very Is Grace Berger still hanging around the WNBA or no?
Yeah, she is. I want to say she was with Dallas last time I checked.
I feel like she was with a couple of teams last year at one point there. But yeah, I was curious about her. And
yeah, she's with the Wings because I walked past her when I was going through trying to get video of the Fever warming up.
So she'll be here Saturday.
Yeah.
We would probably get a little Grace Berger contingent. Maybe those driving up from Louisville as well.
She did get a nice little ovation there. I believe she subbed in late or something like that, and she got a nice little pop from the crowd.
Megan McConnell got a nice shout-out ovation on Saturday when she checked in.
She got to play a lot of minutes in the second half.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the WNBA cut down date is, but yeah, got to finalize these rosters here before the season openers.
Let's take a look at what's happening tonight. Mark, how many screens going at your place tonight? Certainly baseball with Cubs
Infinity.
Reds. What else you got going on? You can watch basketball at the same time?
Yeah, I'll probably multi-view that and stuff. Pro wrestling, too, because I'm a nerd in that regard. So, yeah, probably 2 or 3 things going on the television today.
So does volume go down on everything but WWE then, I would guess?
Probably, yeah. You can watch all those other sports without sound, and you're still good. You need to follow the storyline in wrestling, though. You got to be able to hear things.
What's the big go-to tonight? What are we looking forward to tonight?
I'm looking forward to Cubs Reds. Is that what you're referring to?
No, I just meant WWE storyline. What are you expecting to see?
Their pay-per-view this weekend, Backlash in Tampa. So there you go.
So it's just a big promo all night, is what?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin, what about your screens? Where are you at? Just Cubs Reds. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think you definitely dabble in the NBA. I mean, 76ers Knicks. I think it's pretty juicy. Certainly some history there, and I think 2 fan bases that will certainly make their feelings felt. So. Looking forward to that, and health I think is very dependent on what happens in that second Western series there. Really, both Western series with their injury situations to Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic right now.
So we'll see what happens tonight. Sixers and Knicks. It's too bad they both can't lose in my mind, but then I kind of like to see what Wemby's doing with San Antonio. I think that's going to be a fun watch. The rest of the playoffs, the Spurs.
Yeah, Wemby's got a chance to really climb the ladder here for sure, and he is a special, special talent.
No question about that. All right, so that's what's happening as far as the world of sports is concerned. Again, last check-in on the Hensley Legal Group Command Center tonight, 7 o'clock trackside with Kurt and Kevin. Then at 8 o'clock, it's Beyond the Bricks with Jake Query and Mike Thompson. Enjoy all of those programs for you as we get ready to go for the Sanzio Grand Prix coming up on Saturday. Stay with 93.5 and 107.5. The 107.5. What is it? 107.5 The Fan.
You got it.
For all of the